Chapter 461. No one expected Su Yun to do something that would excite any male animal. Without any hesitation, he stepped forward and reached his hand into Lena's collar. Without any hesitation, he took out the key to the Aston Martin sports car from Lena's collar. Although he did such an amazing thing, Su Yun did not show any sign of blushing. Instead, he became even more serious, with a righteous look on his face, and said, "I did it for your safety, and you know very well that I didn't touch you at all." Ever since she was a child, Lena had never thought that she would be so embarrassed by a man. In her impression, she had always been the one who teased the boys until they had nowhere to hide. However, this was the first time she had been teased by a boy. This man made her heart beat wildly, and her heart beat wildly. Everyone's eyes were focused on Lena, including Bufifan. He also wanted to know how Miss Lin, who was usually arrogant and domineering in school, would react. No man had ever dared to tease her like this. Bufifan was sure that she would flip out. But the result made Bufifan and the others greatly disappointed. Not only did Lena not fly into a rage, she even said to Su Yun with a cute and lovable look on her face, "You did such a thing to me, you have to be responsible for me. I'm a girl. You did it in front of so many people. Whoa whoa. I didn't touch you. Even if I did, I won't be responsible for you. I'm not interested in little girls." Su Yun. How domineering. Because of Su Yun's rejection, he instantly established an image of a mighty figure in the minds of this group of young boys. Lena was a demoness that none of them could deal with. Other than Bufifan, who she would occasionally listen to, she usually yelled at them and didn't care about anyone else. It was really satisfying to see their school goddess being humiliated. Lena was so angry that her eyes almost popped out. "Su Yun, you can try. Let's see if I can get you. I can be your uncle." Su Yun's words left Lena speechless. "Ye fella couldn't even get me, let alone you? Do you think it's possible? Oh my God." This sentence caused the hearts of the group of brats to explode. Aunt Yi was a godlike existence in their hearts, a goddess among goddesses. Even Auntie Yi fell for Su Yun's suit? Wasn't this too awesome and domineering? Those kids who were still unhappy with Su Yun just a moment ago were now feeling dispirited from the bottom of their hearts. Lena was completely defeated. She could only call her family and tell them that she had been drinking. She asked them to arrange for a driver to pick her up. Under Lena's lead, the others had no choice but to follow suit. From the looks of it, Su Yun was determined to make things difficult for them. After finally settling this group of brats, Su Yun was finally able to catch his breath. After everyone had left, Bufifan said with some resentment, "You said that Auntie wanted to hit on you. Is that true?" "What, you have a crush on Auntie?" Su Yun glared at Bufifan. "Kid, today is your birthday. I've given you face. From tomorrow onwards, you better be obedient. Ye fella didn't give you to me to be a sheep. Also, I agree to your conditions. You can leave the management of the hotel to me, but I have to bring my team to participate in the management." Bufifan was stunned. "What do you mean?" "Su Yun, I also have my own hotel in Hadong City. Although it's not even 1/10 of Shinkai's, and the annual income is far less than 1/10 of Shinkai's, I have experience. If you let me manage Shinkai, I will only trust my people. So, I'll go back tomorrow to pick up my people." "Okay." Bufifan readily agreed. "Whatever you say." "I'm sleepy. I'm going to sleep. You can do whatever you want. By the way, I'll go back to school tomorrow afternoon. I'll ask my brothers to pick me up. If you bring them here, I won't interview them. I'll leave all the power to you." Su Yun was speechless. "Damn, did I say that I'd let you interview them?" "I don't think so. You think too highly of yourself." After lying in bed, Su Yun couldn't fall asleep. He didn't know how to tell RuanQingshuang. He did want RuanQingshuang and Guagua to come to Shenzhen. It wasn't because of the huge profits of Shinkai Hotel, but because once Guagua came to Shenzhen, she would have a chance to meet Yumaren. After all, Yumaren and the others would be here for a long time to deal with the nuclear pollution left by Darong Electronics. Plus, They had been in Shenzhen for so long, and they couldn't confirm whether Green Ghost was dead or not. It might be safer to change the environment. However, it was hard to say. After all, once Ruan Qingshuang moved to Shenzhen with Guagua and Chou Yun, it meant that they would be separated from Qin Wan and the others. The others were easy to say. The only one that was hard to say goodbye to was Qin Wan. After all, Qin Wan-er's job was quite stable. Just as Su Yun was thinking hard and couldn't fall asleep, he received a call from Qin Wan-er. When you miss someone, she will come. He didn't know if he should tell Qin Wan-er his thoughts first. Just thinking about it made Su Yun feel cruel. It was too unfair to Qin Wan-er because she was also a part of them. Su Yun, I have something to tell you. I don't know how to solve it. Qin Wan-er's voice sounded very depressed. I know. You can definitely help me make a choice. Tell me. Su Yun was slightly stunned. What choice was Qin Wan-er facing? Why was it so hard to make a decision? Qin Wan-er thought for a while and said slowly, "This time you arrested Yi Fala." With Yi Fala's cooperation, almost all the underground drug chains in the 6 provinces of Huadong were cut off. This credit was supposed to be yours, but you ran away. Director Chen said that if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have helped the police. So he put all the credit on me. Now, because of my outstanding work, after a meeting with the leaders, I am directly appointed as the Deputy Director of the Public Security Bureau in Shenzhen. I am directly at the division level, mainly responsible for anti-drug work. If my work is outstanding, I may be promoted to the Deputy Director level soon. This is a good thing. A promotion. Su Yun smiled. Do you still need to discuss such a good thing with me? Qin Wan-er took a deep breath. Director Chen also talked to me. If I agree to the transfer, I may become the youngest female officer at the division level. This is a very big opportunity for my career. He hopes that I can seize this opportunity. Although he doesn't want me to leave the Hadong City Police Station, after all, the Shenzhen City Police Station and the Hadong City Police Station are not at the same level. If I come to Shenzhen City to be the Deputy Director, my rank will be the same as Director Chen's. This must come. There is no choice. Su Yun, some people may not get such an opportunity in their lifetime. If you don't seize it, you may not have another chance. But I don't want to. Qin Wan-er said, I don't want to leave you guys. If I come to Shenzhen, I'm afraid I can't see you guys every day. I can't see Guagua every day. I can't help Sister Frost. I don't know if giving up on you guys for my career is the right choice. If I have to choose, I would rather give up the so-called career and be happy with you guys every day. Su Yun smiled. Don't worry. No matter where you go, we won't be separated. You just pack up your feelings and take up the position. I will find a way to make them all come to Shenzhen. Do you believe me? Qin Wan-er was stunned for a while before she said, No. Okay, then let's make a bet. If I can make them all come to Shenzhen, you will treat us to a big meal. Su Yun, if I can't do it, I will find a way to make you transfer back to Hadong City. What do you think? Are you kidding? Qin Wan-er confirmed again. Absolutely not. Tomorrow you will follow Director Chen's arrangement and seize your own opportunity. Su Yun, do you know why the higher-ups sent you? Because the Deputy Director was Yi Fala's protection. If it was someone else, it might become a criminal's protection. The higher-ups appointed you because they trust you. Qin Wan-er smiled bitterly, but I didn't do all this. It was you. Just like what Director Chen said, if it wasn't for you, do you think I would work for the police? Su Yun smiled. I remember when we first met, I told you that the job I hate the most is the police. I will never work for the police, but you are an exception. Thinking of the scene where Qin Wan-er drank too much because of him, Su Yun couldn't help but feel sorry for her. No matter how strong a girl was, she was still a girl. Qin Wan-er's voice finally relaxed. Okay, I will write my report tomorrow. I will wait for you to bring Sister Qing Shuang and the others to Shenzhen. Good night. Go to sleep. After Su Yun hung up the phone, he quickly went to sleep. Otherwise, He wouldn't have the energy to drive back tomorrow. In Hadong City's Medicinal Cuisine Hotel, when Su Yun suggested that everyone move to Xinjiang, Ruan Qingshuang couldn't accept it. She had feelings for Hadong City, the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel, and all the restaurants. She couldn't bear to leave suddenly. But she really didn't want Qin Wan to be alone in Xinjiang. Guagua was also a little reluctant. She had already blended in with everyone at school and felt that every day was a happy one. She had never thought that she would have to leave Hadong and go to an unfamiliar city again. Xinjiang was also a big city like Suong. The only thing that comforted Guagua was that if she went to Xinjiang, she would be closer to Suong. Cho Yun didn't have any opinion. She could go anywhere, as long as it was good for Guagua. Moreover, Qin Wan had such a high status in Xinjiang. Maybe going to Xinjiang was a good thing. What about the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel? Ruan Qingshuang said, Chong has gone to the drug rehabilitation center. Who will take care of this hotel? Su Yun waved to Dan Jiahao and LV Wenny. I will leave this to you two. Can you do it? Don't you always want to make a lot of money to buy a BMW? I will give you this opportunity. Brother, you won't really leave, right? Dan Jiahao didn't look excited at all. I would rather not have a BMW than you all leave. It's not like I won't come back. I didn't say that I would give the hotel to you. Even if I was willing, my daughter wouldn't. Su Yun picked up Guagua and said, You guys run it well. We will collect transfer fees. Although Su Yun wanted to make the atmosphere more lively, it still seemed a little sad in the end. The three tigers of Nanqing knew that Su Yun was moving to Xinjiang, so they all rushed over. It was quite sad for them. Tang Zhou didn't say anything. She didn't belong here. She would support Su Yun wherever he went. Chapter 462. Su Yun drove the Qian and led the way in front. Guagua naturally chose to follow Su Yun. Whether it was in terms of driving skills or the brand of the car, Su Yun was Guagua's first choice. Following closely behind was Cho Yun's Golf R. Ruan Qingshuang chose to share a car with Cho Yun out of consideration for Cho Yun. As for the Buick MPV, they left it at Hadong Hotel. After all, this was their home in their hearts. They first went to Guagua's school to do a simple withdrawal procedure. Then, they went to say goodbye to Guagua's class teacher, Su Xiaoran. Then, they went straight to the highway and left Hadong City. After rushing all the way to Xinjiang, Su Yun did not go directly to Xinkai Hotel. Instead, he went to Yi Fala's villa first. Guagua was a little surprised. Dad, are we going to live here? That's too exaggerated. Did you buy this? How much money do you have that I don't know? Su Yun bitterly smiled. In Xinjiang, a villa like this definitely wouldn't be worth tens of millions. The only ones who could afford it were those who had been prosperous for a long time or those who suddenly became rich. It wasn't that there weren't any people who could start from scratch in Xinjiang, but it could be said that there were very few of them. What Su Wanqiang, Ding Li, they were all movie characters. If one had to say that there were fierce people like Du Yuexing and Huang Jinrong who started from scratch, it was because they were in the era of fierce and ruthless people. In today's society, it was not as simple as moving one's mouth to make a living in Xinjiang empty-handed. He did not know why Guagua trusted Su Yun so much. She actually thought that Su Yun could afford a villa in Xinjiang. This is not our house, but we can live here. Su Yun, other than the room on the easternmost side on the second floor, you can choose any room to be your room. Why not that room? Guagua was at the age when she was rebellious. The more she was not allowed to touch it, the better she would think it was. But I want to stay in the room on the east side. What should I do? Su Yun was really helpless. That room belonged to Bu Fifan. Then, he could only wait for the owner of that room to come back and discuss it with him. The room is locked now. None of us can get in. Ever since Ruan Qingshuang moved in, she didn't think that she could live in such a place. Su Yun, this is someone else's house. Did you get their permission to move in? The owner of such a big house must be very rich, right? The owner is a junior high student, just turned 13 years old. I was entrusted to take care of him, so I have the right to live here. He also wants me to help him take care of his hotel. Su Yun said, Then I need your help even more, Sister Shuang. I have no experience in hotel management, but you are different. If you can make the medicinal cuisine hotel flourish, you can also make the Shinkai hotel flourish. The only difference is that you can make the price of the dishes and rooms 10 times more expensive than the medicinal cuisine hotel. Cho Yun frowned. Shinkai Hotel? Su Yun, are you talking about the 5-star Shinkai Hotel in Xinjiangsbund? Su Yun nodded. Yes, that's the one. Oh my God. What else could Cho Yun say? She thought that when she was about to understand Su Yun would suddenly become more mysterious. Now she had completely given up on studying Su Yun. Su Yun could always do things that made her speechless. Then where should I go to school? Guagua said seriously. Guagua, who had slowly integrated into the campus culture, had already fallen in love with school because there were friends to play with. You can rest assured about this. Su Yun, with your Wan Er Jie as a divisional cadre, how can we not find a school for you? We will definitely let Guagua go to the best school. Maybe by the time you go to university, your Wan Er Jie will have become a high-ranking official. At that time, you can choose from Yenjing University, Huaqing University, and Shenzhen University. Guagua snorted. Then I still want to go. My goal is not Yenjing University or Huaqing University. I want to go to Caltech, Oxford University, or Stanford University. At the very least, I want to go to Harvard or MIT. What Cambridge University, Yale University, those rankings are a bit low. What a lofty ambition. Su Yun really blushed with shame. Guagua's goal was to become one of the top 5 universities in the world. This made Su Yun feel a sense of sadness. How could a sparrow know the ambitions of a swan? Although Oxford University's tuition is the lowest, only £12,000, I still prefer Caltech or Stanford University because I like California. Guagua said very seriously. That is the most economically developed place in the world. At such a young age, she already had the ambition to control the global economy. She was indeed Su Yun's demonic goddaughter. Su Yun patted Guagua's little head. Not to mention 12,000, even if it was £120,000, Dad can still afford it. In the future, Shinkai Hotel will be managed by Mom. Every year, 50% of the profits will be kept by Mom. When the time comes, you can even go to the moon to study. Ruan Qingxuang was stunned for a moment. Su Yun, what did you just say? Don't joke around. I can't manage a 5-star hotel. Su Yun shook his head. I'm not joking. You will manage Shinkai Hotel. Every year, 50% of the profits will be yours. Even if we calculate according to the lowest annual profit, the 50% after tax will be around 40 to 50 million. If you manage it well, you may easily break 100 million. Easily break 100 million? Break 100 million in a year? Ruan Qingxuang's expression froze. This joke was too big. But Su Yun had given her too many unbelievable things. He made her understand that there was nothing impossible in the world. When the daily income of the medicinal cuisine restaurant was less than $100, she didn't even dare to think about earning hundreds of thousands in her lifetime. But after coming to the medicinal cuisine restaurant, she earned hundreds of thousands in the first month. I'm not joking, Sister Shuang. This is the condition of the owner of the hotel. He wants me to help him manage it. But I have no experience in management, so I can only ask you to come here. Su Yun said, Do you think I asked you to come all the way to Shenzhen from Hadong just to manage a normal restaurant like the medicinal cuisine restaurant? Cho Yun laughed in disbelief. She carried her bag and started to go upstairs. Su Yun, you really know how to surprise us. Guagua pounced on Su Yun and kissed him. Daddy, I love you so much. You are the best daddy in the world. Hee hee, does this mean I can buy a full set of minions? David, Stuart, Tim, Mark, Phil, Jerry, George, Kevin, John. I want them all. Ruan Qingxuang didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She picked up Guagua and said, "Mommy can give you the minions slowly, but your priority now is to choose a house. You guys choose a house first. I have to go pick up an important person." Su Yun said, "Remember to pick a room for me too." "Don't worry, Daddy. Leave it to me," Guagua promised. There were 8 bedrooms upstairs, so there was a lot of room to choose. She only needed to think about whether to choose a room opposite her mother's or a room next to her mother's for her father. This was really a dilemma. Ruan Qingshuang and Chou Yun both thought that Su Yun was going to pick up the owner of the house. In other words, the legendary 13-year-old first-year junior high student. But Su Yun was indeed picking up someone they didn't expect at all. Su Yun parked his car in front of the Shenzhong police station. He was bored to death listening to music. It was already 5:30 p.m., and it was almost time to get off work. Soon, Su Yun saw a familiar figure striding out. He forgot that he was in front of the police station and honked 3 times. Qin Weiner saw Su Yun waving at her from the car window and was dumbfounded. She really didn't expect that Su Yun would appear in front of her at this time. Because they were in front of the police station, Qin Weiner quickly opened the door and got in the car. She signaled Su Yun to quickly close the window and drive away. After all, she was now the deputy director of the Shenzhong police station. She had to be more careful. Su Yun drove directly to the villa. Qin Weiner was stunned. "Where are you taking me? Didn't you promise me that you would bring Sister Qing Shuang and the others to Shenzhong? Don't tell me you can't do it and want me to go back to Hadong with you? I can't just leave like that. I have to apply for a transfer. If it's not approved, I'll be in trouble." "Where do you live when you work here?" Su Yun didn't answer Qin Weiner's question. He directly changed the topic. "The city has arranged a temporary rental apartment. I haven't thought about where to live. I don't have so much money to buy a house in Shenzhong." Qin Weiner said, "Hey, if you want to go to my house, I don't know how to get there. I only know that it's not far by subway. I haven't walked on the road above." Su Yun shook his head. "You're a divisional leader. You still want to rent a house? People will laugh at you if they know about it." "Well, I happen to have a friend who doesn't want to live in his house. You can live there in the future. It's spacious, 2 floors, 8 bedrooms, and a courtyard." "Su Yun, are you crazy? You arranged a place for me to live? How far is that? I'm going to rent a house close to my work." Qin Weiner frowned. "Don't make trouble for me." "Who's making trouble for you? I've prepared a car for you. You don't have to run to and from work. Do you know how much the rent near your work is? An ordinary 2-bedroom apartment is at least 60,000 yuan, right?" Su Yun's calculation was very clear. "How much do you earn as a divisional-level national cadre? Is it enough for the rent? You don't eat, drink, or buy daily necessities." Qin Weiner really didn't think so much. Su Yun's words made her dumbfounded. Soon, Su Yun returned to the villa again. Qin Weiner recognized at a glance that it was Yi Fala's villa. Of course, she also knew that Yi Fala had already transferred the property. She asked in surprise, "Did Yi Fala give her house to you?" Su Yun smiled helplessly. "I can't accept it." When the car drove into the courtyard, Qin Weiner almost screamed. "Didn't they buy the Golf R together in Hadong? When did they come here?" Qin Weiner suddenly realized. "Sister Qing Shuang and the others are here?" Su Yun nodded. "Of course. I said that I'll let them come, so I'll definitely do it. You can live here in the future. I also drove the car for you. There's a subway station 300 meters away. It's very convenient for you to go to work." Chapter 463. Ruan Qingshuang promised Su Yun that she would be the CEO of Xinkai Hotel tomorrow. Qin Wan also promised Su Yun that she would find someone to inquire about the schools in Shenzhong and solve the problem of Guagua going to school. Even if Su Yun didn't ask, Chou Yun would naturally be responsible for Guagua's safety, so there was no need for Su Yun to say more. Life didn't stop because of their changes, and they still had to live one day at a time. After everything was on the right track, Su Yun took Ruan Qingxuang to Xinkai Hotel the next day to report. Chou Yun and Guagua naturally went with them. Qin Wan had just been promoted to a new position, so it was inconvenient for her to ask for leave immediately, so she couldn't go with them. When Ruan Qingxuang walked out of the Qian, she suddenly felt that her breathing stopped. To be honest, she couldn't believe everything in front of her eyes. This Xinkai Hotel with almost 100 floors was more than 10 grades higher than the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel in Hadong City. It could be said that it was 30 or even 50 grades higher than the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel in Hadong City. God, Su Yun actually asked her to manage such a big 5-star hotel. Didn't he think too highly of her? Ruan Qingxuang's lack of confidence made her want to retreat. She was really afraid that she couldn't handle it. Guagua saw Ruan Qingxuang's expression and knew what she was thinking. She smiled smartly and said, "Mom, do you remember when you stood in front of the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel for the first time? You had the same expression. What were you thinking at that time?" I was thinking that I definitely couldn't handle it. I was just running a small medicinal cuisine restaurant, and it wasn't doing well." Ruan Qingxuang took a deep breath and said, "I can't imagine." Chou Yun said, "Sister Qingxuang, you ran the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel well, and the Medicinal Cuisine Hot Pot that you launched instantly became the most popular winter food in Hadong City. Actually, you have the ability to control a big hotel. Su Yun believes in you, and so does Guagua. We all believe that you can do it. If you can make the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel well, you can also make the Xinkai Hotel well." Su Yun nodded as well. "That's right, Sister Shuang. Nowadays, the richer the person, the more particular they are. As far as I know, there isn't a single big hotel that uses medicinal cuisine as their main menu. All the high-class hotels are mainly promoting delicacies like French cuisine, Italian cuisine, Thai cuisine, Japanese cuisine, Korean cuisine, and so on. Xinkai Hotel can definitely innovate and expand the Chinese cuisine and strengthen the traditional medicinal cuisine. Rich people can find a different taste in these high-end hotels." Bingo! Guagua reached out and snapped her fingers. "You can do it, Mom. We believe you can do it. You can do it." Ruan Qingxuang finally built up her confidence with everyone's encouragement. She nodded heavily and walked into the Xinkai Hotel resolutely. Su Yun and Chou Yen stood on the left and right like bodyguards. Guagua, on the other hand, had completely regarded the building as her own property. She greeted the security guard on duty and the waiter in the front hall with familiarity. Under Su Yun's lead, they quickly arrived at the general manager's office on the 6th floor. Ruan Qingxuang pushed the door and entered. There were people in the room, and not just one person. There were more than a dozen men and women, chatting happily. They didn't feel uneasy or gloomy because of Yi Farah's arrest at all. Ruan Qingxuang didn't know if it was because there were so many people, but she seemed a little restrained. She didn't know what to say for a moment. Su Yun let Fifen gather these people for him. He didn't tell Ruan Qingxuang before coming because he was afraid that she would feel pressured. But she really didn't expect that this group of department managers really didn't treat her as an outsider, especially the fat man sitting in front of the general manager's desk. He looked at ease and drank tea leisurely. "Get up." Su Yun scolded and didn't give the fat man any face. "That's not your position. If you don't want to work, get out." The fat man sitting in front of the general manager's desk was stunned. He, Go Qingjun, was the head of the hotel's administrative office. In this hotel, except for the general manager, everyone had to respect him. Suddenly being reprimanded by an unknown brat, he couldn't bear to lose face. "Who are you? Who are you talking to? Is Manager Go someone you can shout at?" Before Go Qingjun said anything, the burly security chief, Pang Yong, got angry. "Don't blame me for being rude to you if you shout again." Guagua put her hands on her waist and said, "Dog manager? Humph, even if you're a cat manager, you can't bark in front of the general manager." When the 7-year-old girl opened her mouth, everyone's eyes turned to Su Yun. Su Yun felt that he had to take a step back and put Ruan Qingxuang in front of everyone. Everyone began to realize the problem now. It turned out that the woman next to them was the main character today. Ruan Qingxuang was a little embarrassed at first, but when she thought of Su Yun and Guagua's support behind her, a confidence rose from her heart. Hello everyone, my name is Ruan Qingxuang. I will be the general manager of Xingkai Hotel from now on. I hope to work happily with everyone, and I hope that everyone will cooperate with me more in the future. When Ruan Qingxuang announced her position, no one reacted. Everyone was still staring at Ruan Qingxuang with arrogance. You want to be the general manager? Gu Yu, the HR manager, who was sitting on the sofa in the corner, frowned and said, Who asked you to come? Ruan Qingxuang was stunned for a moment and looked back at Su Yun. She only knew that Su Yun asked her to come, but why did the people here look so unfriendly? No one's face showed any sign of welcome. They all had a sense of hostility. Su Yun did not expect that these people would use this method to show off their power. He said with a cold face, It was Bu Fifan who asked President Ruan to come. Do you have any objections? If you do, call Bu Fifan and ask him what you should do. The hotel used to be managed by President Yi. Now that there's a sudden change, I'm afraid we can't adapt. Gu Yu continued. Obviously, as the manager of the HR department, he was used to getting his approval before anyone could enter the company. Now, without his approval, a beautiful general manager suddenly came in. It was really hard for him to accept. Ruan Qingxuang's beauty also easily attracted the jealousy of the same gender. The manager of the marketing and sales department, Yao Shanshan, looked a little unhappy and said, Yes, we are also human. We need to get used to working together. We are still used to working with President Yi. Now that a manager suddenly came in, we really can't take it. Because Ruan Qingxuang was originally weak, Su Yun had to help her become strong at this time. I won't stop those who want to work with Yi Fala. I believe that each of you have done one or two things that can't be seen. If you really want me to investigate, I can cooperate with you. If you want to be Yi Fala's companion in prison, raise your hand. Everyone looked at each other, not knowing the background of this young man who was stronger than them. Suddenly, the manager of the F&B department, Lu Minghua, recognized Su Yun. He pointed at Su Yun and shouted, You're the Su Yun who was always with President Yi a while ago? It doesn't matter who I am. The important thing is that you have to recognize the person in front of you. Su Yun pointed at Ruan Qingxuang. She will be your current general manager. I hope you can cooperate with her well. Otherwise, I won't be as easy to talk to as President Ruan. The head of the security department, Pang Yong, sneered and stepped forward. Then let me see how difficult it is to talk to you. This was because Pang Yong was not there when Su Yun overthrew a group of Dongying people at the entrance of Xingkai Hotel, so he didn't know Su Yun's skills at all. Relying on the fact that he had practiced for a few years, he suddenly reached out to grab Su Yun's face. This was the eagle claw he was proud of. Just when everyone was ready to see Su Yun make a fool of himself, Su Yun blocked Pang Yong's eagle claw with one hand. Their 5 fingers were interlocked. Su Yun suddenly exerted force. A sharp pain like a needle piercing through the 5 fingers instantly drilled into Pang Yong's heart. The 1.9-meter-tall man knelt down on the ground with a thud. He didn't care about his face at all and begged for mercy. Ow! Ah! I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Pang Yong was sweating from the pain. Gu Yu and Go Qingjun, who knew their friend well, knew that although Pang Yong was not as powerful as Zhang Fei or as brave as Guan Yu, he was definitely not a coward. His face was so embarrassed. Obviously, Su Yun had completely convinced him. Su Yun heard Pang Yong beg for mercy and quickly let go. I don't have any other requests. Cooperate well with Ms. Ruan. Everyone will be happy. If anyone wants to find trouble, feel free to come. Let me remind you one last time. Ms. Ruan has a good temper, but it doesn't mean that I have a good temper. Especially towards men, I won't be soft-hearted. Pang Yong hugged his almost broken palm. He was in so much pain that he couldn't say a word. He grimaced and didn't dare to complain at all. Yao Shanshan said coldly, You're a man and you can't even bear this little pain. Humph, Why are you still a security chief? I think you should go home and plant sweet potatoes. Slap. A loud slap landed on Yao Shanshan's face. Cho Yun stood in front of her coldly. Su Yun doesn't hit women, but it doesn't mean that I don't hit women. Originally, her cold aura was unbearable. Now that she was angry, it made people feel as cold as ice. The feeling that this cold beauty gave people was definitely more terrifying than the feeling that Su Yun gave people, even more terrifying. Yao Shanshan's mouth trembled. She, who had always been fierce, couldn't say a word. This woman's aura was too cold and ruthless. She really suspected that if she said anything that made her unhappy, she would cut her in half in front of everyone. Ruan Qingxuang saw that Su Yun and Cho Yun were at daggers drawn and quickly stopped them. Don't be like this in the hotel. We're all on the same side. Don't be like this. Chapter 464. Although there were many difficulties in front of Ruan Qingxuang, Su Yun still believed in her. There was no difficulty that could stop Ruan Qingxuang. No one could predict her strength and persistence. Even Su Yun didn't dare to say that he could be stronger than Ruan Qingxuang. After leaving everything to Ruan Qingxuang, Su Yun left Xinkai Hotel with Cho Yun and Guagua. Qin Wan called and said that she had helped Guagua contact the school through her colleagues. It was the best private school in Shenzhen City. From compulsory education to high school, all the services were integrated. Everything was for the children. After all, Qin Wan was now the deputy director of the Shenzhen police station. There were many people who wanted to curry favor with her. Everyone knew that she could be promoted so quickly at such a young age. In the end, she would become an awesome person who could have a great career. No one dared to say that she didn't have someone above her. Even the director was nice to her. Naturally, the other colleagues were even more flattering to her. Who didn't want to maintain a good relationship with this big backer before she grew up? Even a fool knew that doing a little thing for her at this time was definitely better than flattering her 1,000 times in the future. Now was the time to give face to those who owed her. Therefore, Qin Wan only said one sentence, and immediately someone quickly contacted her. Before Qin Wan could react, someone replied to the letter, "Bring the child to enroll at any time. The child can go to class at any time. You don't need to say anything. You must arrange for the child to be in the class with the best teacher. The children in the class are definitely children from rich and noble families." Su Yun agreed with the previous words. However, the children in the rich and noble families were of high quality. Su Yun was a little worried about this. However, Su Yun had enough confidence that no one would bully Guagua. At the same age, Guagua was probably the only one who could bully others. Cho Yun was completely at ease about this. Qin Wan quickly came to pick up Cho Yun and Guagua and went to school to make arrangements. Su Yun unexpectedly received a call from Feng Ying. Feng Ying had never called him before, so Su Yun felt that there was something fishy going on. He couldn't believe it. "Su Yun, I've already heard about Yi Fala's matter. I know that you must have pulled her down." Feng Ying's tone was firm. "If you still have the time to care about other people's business, why don't you think of a way to help Zhuo Meiyan get that piece of land on Guqin Island? If you don't help her, I'm afraid she will really fall out with the other party." Su Yun frowned. "What will happen if we fall out?" "If we fall out, we won't be able to get that piece of land, and all the money we spent before will be completely wasted." Feng Ying said, "Su Yun, you said yourself that you will take over Sky Entertainment Group. If you don't step forward at this time, it won't make sense. If you are still in Shenzhen, you can book a flight for 3:30 this afternoon. I will pick you up at Guqin Island Airport." Without giving Su Yun a chance to continue asking, Feng Ying hung up the phone. This time, Su Yun not only didn't have a reason to refuse, but he also didn't have a chance to refuse. Besides, he should have gone to Zhuo Meiyan to explain the matter between him and Yi Fala. This trip to Guqin Island was certain. After Su Yun returned to the villa, he left a note and left the car and car keys at home. Then, he took a taxi to Shenzhen Airport alone. There was a 3:30 flight to Guqin Island. It seemed that Feng Ying had already checked the route and was waiting for Su Yun to go. In a luxurious standard room of Hadong City's medicinal cuisine hotel, a man with more stubble than hair looked very serious. He didn't expect such a big change would happen after he had a hangover. The medicinal cuisine hotel actually changed owners without anyone noticing. He still hadn't figured out the matter that Pluto asked him to investigate, and now he couldn't even find the person. How could he report this? Burning with anxiety, he could only ask Miao Dao for help. It was the first time Pluto asked him to do such an important thing, and he actually made a mistake. This was a capital offense. Brother, something happened. The man told Miao Dao as clearly as possible about the medicinal cuisine hotel changing owners in one day. Miao Dao's face instantly changed color. Nonsense, I have reminded you 100 times. This time Pluto asked you to do this, you must be 120% alert. Did you drink again? You bastard. If you anger the Nether King because of this, you will die miserably. Hu Lai, nicknamed the Drunken Saber Immortal, was once a subordinate of the Emperor, Long Huang, just like the executioner Miao Dao. He was Miao Dao's most loyal subordinate. After joining the Netherworld King with him, he had been working under the Netherworld King. Although he usually had nothing to do and drank until he was dead drunk, in terms of strength, he was also a super realm expert like Miao Dao. This time, Pluto arranged for Hu Lai to come to Hadong City to monitor everything because Hu Lai looked inconspicuous. No matter how you looked at him, he was just a dumpling. Moreover, this kind of thing only needed to hide one's strength. There was no need to use too much brain power. But even such a simple thing was still messed up by Hu Lai. Ever since Hu Lai was arranged to investigate in Hadong City, he hadn't seen Su Yun. Therefore, the order he received was to bide his time. This kind of leisurely life naturally made Hu Lai timid. After a few days, he started to live with a hangover. In the end, when he woke up, he couldn't see the little girl's figure anymore. Brother, you must help me. There must be something fishy about this. If the little girl doesn't have a secret, why would she suddenly disappear? Hu Lai said, Brother, do you think it's good for me to explain to Pluto like this? I'll say that the little girl has a secret, so they escaped. This way, I won't have spent so many days monitoring this place for nothing. Pluto might not blame me. Miao Dao snorted coldly. Aren't you too naive? Did he escape? Where did they escape to? Why did I ask you to come here? Isn't it to monitor Su Yun and the little girl? They're gone. You don't even know where they went. What are you doing here? And you said that the little girl has a secret. What secret? What if Pluto asks? What do you say? Although Pluto Langchan asked Hu Lai to come to Hadong City to observe if the little girl had any secret, he didn't tell Hu Lai what the secret was. If Hu Lai wanted to make up a story, wouldn't it be easier to anger Pluto? I don't care what method you use, find out where they went immediately. Miao Dao said seriously, I can help you, but don't expect me to save you. You can't let Pluto know about this. If Pluto knows that you lost sight of them, then even God can't save you. Hu Lai, let me tell you, you're Drunken Saber Immortal in other people's eyes, but you know very well what you are in Pluto's eyes. It's not like you didn't see what happened to Green Ghost. If you insist on following in his footsteps, I won't stop you. Large beads of sweat appeared on Hu Lai's head. Brother, I'll definitely find a way to find out where they went. You must help me put in a good word in front of Pluto. I swear before I find them, I won't touch a drop of alcohol. Miao Dao snorted. You know very well what to do. It's very easy to find out where they went. Get close to the people who have been in contact with them before, and use your brain. I'll go do this now. Hu Lai nodded in agreement. After hanging up the phone, Miao Dao's face with 3 scars was covered with haze. This matter wasn't just Hu Lai's matter alone. He really wanted to know what the little girl's secret that Green Ghost mentioned was, and why Pluto Langchan was so interested in it. Once Hu Lai could get an effective clue, Miao Dao's first task was to kill Su Yun. He couldn't find any information about Su Yun. Just based on this little information, Miao Dao had never underestimated Su Yun. There weren't many people that he couldn't find information about, and this kind of person was often a secret. On the road full of doubts, Miao Dao didn't know what to do to gain Pluto's favor. Ever since he had a falling out with Wang Long Huang, the overlord of southern Lu, who was known as the Son of Heaven, Wang Long Huang had never had the intention to let him go. Black Tiger Luo Xing was also chasing him closely. He could only gain Pluto Lung Chen's favor by doing something. Then, once Pluto Lang Chen spoke, no matter how powerful Wang Long Huang was, he would have to give Pluto Lang Chen some face. He wouldn't have to worry about Luo Xing's pursuit anymore. This was the first time Miao Dao and Hu Lai carried out Pluto Lung Chen's mission. Maybe it was because they hadn't gained Pluto Lung Chen's trust yet, so they didn't know much about what they were doing. They didn't dare to ask too much, afraid that asking too much would bring about unexpected trouble. Since Hu Lai couldn't handle it alone, Miao Dao couldn't sit still anymore. The faster this matter was settled, the more beneficial it would be for them. After thinking about it, he felt that it was necessary for him to personally make a trip to Hadong. Although Luo Xing's pursuit of him hadn't stopped, he had to take the risk. Otherwise, staying on Pluto Island would be a waste of his life. Shan Jiang flew to Guqin Island for over an hour, so when Su Yun arrived, the sun hadn't set yet. Feng Ying stood at the exit, looking at Su Yun with a smile. "You didn't let me down." He couldn't let Sister Feng Ying down. Su Yun smiled. "Let's go. I want to see the land that the old man had his eyes on. What kind of feng shui is it?" "Let's go. You'll know when you see it." Feng Ying led Su Yun out of the airport and quickly got into Zhua Meiyan's black Mercedes-Benz. Wu Yuandong smiled at Su Yun in the driver's seat. President Zhua wanted to come personally, but he was too busy with work, so he couldn't come. "Okay, don't be so polite with him. He just didn't want to come because of his face." Feng Ying shook her head helplessly. "Su Yun, you have to give her more face later. It's not like you don't know Zhua Meiyan. Even if she misunderstood you, you embarrassed her in front of so many people that day." "I know." Su Yun smiled. "Sister Feng Ying, don't worry. No one knows Zhua Meiyan's temper better than I do. If I don't make her laugh today, I'll change my surname to Zhua. Actually, it's easy to coax her. I just need to tell a joke. Sister Feng Ying, do you want me to tell you one first?" Chapter 465. Since the car that picked up Su Yun at the airport was Zhua Meiyan's, it was obvious that Zhua Meiyan already knew that Su Yun was coming this time. But for the sake of face, when Zhua Meiyan saw Su Yun, she still rolled her eyes, as if she didn't see Su Yun. Feng Ying had to play along with her. She stood aside innocently, as if she had acted on her own initiative to call Su Yun over. Su Yun smiled brightly and walked to Zhua Meiyan. "Are you still angry with me? You don't have to. It's been a few days, and I've been thinking about it for so long. You should give me a chance to admit my mistake. Today, I'm here to ask for punishment. Whip me." With that, Su Yun handed the willow branch that he had broken on the way to Zhua Meiyan with both hands. Zhua Meiyan, who was pretending to be angry, didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Zhua Meiyan really didn't know what to do with him. Su Yun was already so sincere. She couldn't possibly continue to put on airs and go on endlessly, right? Su Yun took the opportunity to put his mouth close to Zhua Meiyan's ear and said with a smile, "Since you've said so much, if you don't give me a way out, you're forcing me to kneel down and apologize." Zhua Meiyan glared at Su Yun and whispered, "What nonsense are you talking about? A man has gold under his knees. Even I, a woman, understand such a simple truth. How can you not understand it? Don't joke around. Otherwise, if Mr. Zhang knows, he'll definitely scold me to death." Seeing that Zhua Meiyan's face finally showed a smile that hadn't been seen for a long time, the people around finally breathed a sigh of relief. In Suong, Zhua Yeming, who had finally earned enough money to rush back, obviously felt that the show wasn't enough. He muttered, "You've forgiven this guy so quickly? You don't even know how to help your brother vent his anger. F***CK, what kind of brother-in-law is he? He left his brother-in-law in Suong and didn't even care about him. He didn't even give me a toll. I had to wander for so many days. You deserved it. After Zhua Meiyan made up with Su Yun, she immediately put on a pair of pants and snorted at her brother. If you want to make money, rely on your own ability, don't rely on others. As I said, if you can settle the matter of the Qingdao Film and Television Plaza, I will immediately give you 100 million yuan and let you go sightseeing. But can you do it? Zhuo Yeming clicked his tongue. That old bastard doesn't listen to reason or force. What can I do? Sister, you always make things difficult for me. All right, since my future brother-in-law is here, let him do it. If he can do it, then I'll admit defeat. Otherwise, you'll have to return the Ferrari to me. Su Yun was stunned. Are you making a bet with me? Zhuo Yeming straightened his neck and said, Yes, let's make a bet. If you can make the secretary of the Quicksand Village hand over the land, I will give you my Ferrari. What do you think? I like sports cars, but it's too tiring to drive, so I don't want it. Su Yun shook his head. S-Class Benz is more comfortable. Haha. Zhuo Yeming clicked his tongue. Sister, did you hear that? We haven't even started yet, and he's already backing out. He doesn't even dare to make a bet with me. If I were you, I would bet your Benz with him. No, don't even mention the Benz, sister. I would bet with your body. If you lose, let him sleep with you. If you win, sleep with him. Zhua Meiyan directly slapped the back of her brother's head. What is this little bastard talking about? Even the white-lipped Zhu Yeqing, who was always fearless, blushed. Su Yun laughed dryly. There's no difference in this bet. No matter what, I will be slept with. Thinking of Zhua Meiyan's slender waist, if she really straddled him, wouldn't he be twisted to death? TSK, TSK, TSK. It's better not to think too much. Zhua Meiyan was not interested in Zhuo Yeming's little verbal bet. Su Yun, whether or not you can get the Quicksand Golden Shore is a test of whether or not you can prove that you have the ability to rise to the top. You know, not only is Guo Chuanjiang waiting to laugh at you, Qin Tianjian and Zhou Buoqing are also waiting to hit you when you're down. Apart from us, there are many others who want to take this land. If we can't get this land, you know very well what it will mean. Su Yun nodded. Although the pressure was great, he would never show it on the surface. Then can you at least give me some information about the current situation? Follow me. The large rock that Zhuo Meiyan had been holding in midair all this time finally fell to the ground. The long-awaited feeling of relaxation caused the complexion of her face to gradually improve. The tiredness of the many days of hard work was completely relaxed at this moment. After hearing the whole story, Su Yun was sure that the most shameless person he had ever met in his life was Guo Chuanjiang. If a person could be so ungrateful, then he really wasn't born from a mother. If Zhang Taisui knew that this guy didn't continue to be loyal to him and instead became Sky Entertainment's biggest swindler, he would probably jump out of his coffin in anger. Because the Qingdao Film and Television Plaza had always been managed by Guo Chuanjiang, Sky Entertainment had given him the greatest support, allowing him to successfully capture all the interests and hobbies of the Quicksand Village party secretary. Soon, he and the party secretary Tai Zhonghua became best buddies. It was because of Guo Chuanjiang and Tai Zhonghua's relationship that Sky Entertainment Group was able to relax. In order to ensure that everything would go smoothly in the future, Zhuo Meiyan asked Guo Chuanjiang to slowly build up their relationship. Guo Chuanjiang guaranteed that the Quicksand Golden Shore was already a cooked duck and would never fly out of Sky Entertainment's hands. Every time Zhuo Meiyan asked him if he had signed the land sale contract, Guo Chuanjiang would always say that urging Tai Zhonghua would make it seem like Sky Entertainment wasn't magnanimous enough. He said that he knew what he was doing. At that time, Zhuo Meiyan didn't think that Guo Chuanjiang had already started to have other ideas. It wasn't that Tai Zhonghua didn't want to sign the land sale contract. Sky Entertainment's conditions were very good. Not only would they arrange housing for every resident of the Quicksand Village, they would also give a very attractive amount of subsidies. As the party secretary, Tai Zhonghua could get even more benefits. Of course he was happy. Guo Chuanjiang, on the other hand, had told Tai Zhonghua something even more heartfelt. He said that it was best to endure it. The longer he endured it, the higher the price Sky Entertainment would offer him, and the greater the benefits he would receive. Therefore, Tai Zhonghua, who had a very good personal relationship with Guochuanjiang, signed a private agreement with Guochuanjiang. He promised that no matter when the land was sold to any company, it would go through Guochuanjiang's hands. This was because Guochuanjiang could help them get more. Guochuanjiang had also secretly paid Tai Zhonghua 800,000 yuan for this agreement. After receiving Guochuanjiang's benefits, Tai Zhonghua bowed down to Guochuanjiang. If Guochuanjiang didn't let him sign the land sale contract, he wouldn't sign the land sale contract. Sky Entertainment Group had already spent a lot of money on this matter. Now, Guochuanjiang was publicly offering a price to the other companies competing for this piece of land. He would let Tai Zhonghua sell the Quicksand Golden Shore to whoever offered him the highest price. After this matter reached Zhuo Meiyan's ears, she searched for Guochuanjiang's whereabouts almost every day. When she finally found Guochuanjiang, Guochuanjiang said the same thing to her: the highest bidder gets the land. Zhuo Meiyan promised him that he could ask all the other competitors' prices and then come talk to her. Sky Entertainment would definitely be able to offer a higher price. She didn't expect Guochuanjiang to be so greedy. He said that if Zhuo Meiyan was willing to pay 500 million, he would let Tai Zhonghua sell the land to Sky Entertainment. This was a joke. Zhuo Meiyan's budget for this land was less than 3 billion yuan. After deducting the cost of buying the land, settling down the villagers, and giving them subsidies, 3 billion yuan wasn't even enough to cover the cost of the land. Now, she hadn't gotten anything for no reason, and Guochuanjiang was asking for 500 million yuan. This was daylight robbery. However, Guochuanjiang also said that he knew Tai Zhonghua's trump card. If Zhuo Meiyan didn't meet his conditions, he would find other competitors and reveal Tai Zhonghua's trump card. The other companies only needed to slightly increase the price, and everything Sky Entertainment had done before would be completely wasted. For this land, Zhuo Meiyan had already bought another piece of land and started to build relocation houses. Sky Entertainment wasn't in the real estate business, and they didn't know how to manage real estate. If Tai Zhonghua sold the Quicksand Gold Coast land to someone else, the relocation houses built by Sky Entertainment could only be sold on the market. Although real estate wasn't losing money now, it definitely wasn't as profitable as it used to be. Moreover, the relocation houses built by Sky Entertainment couldn't be compared to large-scale real estate, so the price definitely wouldn't be high. In addition, in recent years, many black-hearted village officials had taken advantage of the relocation of villages to make money. Everyone in the country knew that the quality of relocation houses was far inferior to commercial housing. When the time came, whether or not they could sell was still a question. All these signs had forced Zhuo Meiyan into a desperate situation where she had to obtain this piece of land. This was also why Feng Ying had taken the initiative to call Su Yun. I just received reliable information that tonight Guochuanjiang will take Tai Zhonghua to see Fengde Real Estate's boss, Chen Yazhou. If I'm not wrong, they should be talking about the Quicksand Gold Coast. Zhuo Meiyan frowned and said, Guochuanjiang is doing this to give me a warning, to let me know that he's not joking with me. If I don't transfer 500 million to his account as he wants, he'll make an agreement between Tai Zhonghua and Chen Yazhou. Su Yun rubbed his temples and said, Where will they meet tonight? Zhuo Meiyan shook her head and said, I don't know where they'll eat, but one thing I'm sure of is that Guochuanjiang has spoiled Tai Zhonghua to a habit. After dinner, they'll go to a large bathing center called the Amazon Rainforest to take a bath. TSK, what bath? Zhuo Yeming spat. They're just going to look for prostitutes. I followed them and found out that Tai Zhonghua is very fond of the twins in the bathing center, number 86 and number 88. Every time he goes there, he'll order number 86 and number 88. If the twins have guests, he's willing to pay the bill for the other guests. Then, he'll ask the other guests to pick 3 or even 4. He'll definitely ask number 86 and number 88 to accompany him. Hearing about Tai Zhonghua's hobby, Zhuo Meiyan and Feng Ying couldn't help but frown and feel disgusted. Su Yun still kept his cool and thought, what time do they usually go to the bathing center in the Amazon rainforest? If nothing goes wrong, after dinner and drinks, it'll be around 10 o'clock. Zhua Yeming, who was in charge of supervising them, said, usually at this time, the bathing center dares to let the prostitutes work. It seems that if you go early, you'll have to wait. If you go late, you won't be able to get a job. So, they all arrive around 10 o'clock. Su Yun smiled slightly. It seemed that he would have to go there to meet them tonight. Okay, I got it. Well, I didn't have lunch and I'm a little hungry. I wonder if you'll prepare a banquet to welcome me? Chapter 466. At 8:15, Su Yun had already arrived at the Amazon Rainforest Bath Center. The weather was getting colder and colder. Most people who knew how to enjoy life would choose to spend a little money to come out for a steam bath, and a back rub. They would let themselves enjoy a comfortable bath instead of simply taking a shower at home. However, people who enjoyed life like this were a minority after all. Moreover, they wouldn't choose this kind of bath center that looked like a brilliant wall with advertising banners that advertised a special 198 yuan Thai massage. People with discerning eyes knew that this kind of luxurious bath center was doing business under the guise of selling dog meat under the guise of sheep's head. And the people who came here often couldn't just spend 58 yuan to take a bath without any other services. Even workers or students who didn't have much money would at least get a 198 yuan Thai massage. If one didn't spend a few thousand or tens of thousands to entertain customers in this kind of place, it would be a shame to entertain customers. However, it was still early. Most of the people who were willing to spend money here were still drinking on the table. Therefore, the people who came to take a bath at this time were the former type of people, the poor people who were looking for excitement and fun. This kind of place naturally wouldn't serve this kind of people wholeheartedly because he could only spit out a few bills in his pocket. Therefore, Su Yun only heard 2 greetings of good evening and welcome when he entered the door. After that, no one bothered his ears. After entering the changing room, Su Yun of course changed his clothes step by step and went to take a bath. Since he was already here, if he wanted to dress up and go upstairs to the lounge, he would definitely be mistaken as a plainclothes person and would definitely be kicked out. After taking a bath, Su Yun also changed into a bathrobe prepared by the bath center and swaggered upstairs to the lounge. In the dimly lit lounge, there were about 100 casual single electronically controlled beds in about 20 rows. There was a TV in front of each row, but the screen was all the same. It was unknown whether there were too many anti-Japanese dramas nowadays, or the person in charge of this floor had anti-Japanese plots, but the screen was showing anti-Japanese war films. The 8 people were definitely super experts. They rampaged through the rain of bullets and took the enemy's head as easily as fishing in a bag. Mighty my great Hua Xia. Su Yun found an empty seat and lay down. Looking at the TV screen, he lamented in his heart that the authors and scriptwriters nowadays were really bad. They were not even as good as the online authors. Anyone who lived through that era knows how ruthless the Japanese were back then. They were all well trained and equipped much more advanced than us. If the Japanese were really as easy to kill as they were in the TV series, a supporting role could kill thousands of them. Then, the war of resistance against Japan wouldn't have taken 8 years. 2 groups of bandits from the Twin Dragon Mount or Ching Feng camp would have been enough to win the war in 8 days. Back then, the Japanese were as ruthless as they could be. They had all been brainwashed by the King Emperor. A Japanese soldier could carry a gun and grab a handful of rice and live for more than a week on a tree. This was something that really existed during World War II. A small team of 3 to 5 Japanese soldiers could occupy a county in China. This was also undeniable. Even now, the Japanese still dared to stir up trouble on Turtle Island. Just based on this point alone, one could see how hopeless this democracy was. There were 4 or 5 customers lying in the lounge. Some were doing foot treatments, while others were just lying down and watching TV. Soon, a waiter walked up to Su Yun. "Brother, do you want a foot treatment? 128 yuan, free of charge." What did that mean? Su Yun was stunned. It was his first time here, so he really didn't know. Free of charge means that I don't have to pay 58 yuan for a bath? Yes, Just 128 yuan for a foot treatment, and you don't have to pay for a bath. It was very cost-effective. After all, the bath center didn't only have to support the ladies. There were also some technicians who sold their skills but not their bodies. Su Yun frowned. Foot massages required one to know the acupoints. Not only would it not help people to rest and relax, it might even cause problems. Can you bear the responsibility? Responsibility. The waiter frowned. Brother, if you don't trust ordinary technicians, we have experienced Chinese medicine here, but the price is slightly higher. 128 yuan is not enough. 268 yuan for a foot massage. 268 yuan for a professional Chinese medicine doctor. 268 yuan? I can find a sister to play with. Su Yun snorted. Forget about the massage. Is there any other service? How much does it cost to have fun? The waiter's face showed a smile. I'm sorry, sir. We are a regular bath center. Except for the professional service, foot treatment or massage, we don't have anything else. Su Yun's face was unhappy. You dare to open a bath center with such little service? Forget it, I'll call you when I think about it. You go first. The waiter bowed and left. Su Yun didn't know if he said something wrong, so he aroused the waiter's suspicion and told him that there was no other service. But then he looked around the hall. It didn't look like a place to do those shameful things. Su Yun was confused. Did he come to the wrong place? But he was sent here by Zhua Yeming. Zhua Yeming wanted to come up with him to have some fun, but he was transferred back by Zhua Meiyan with a phone call. There was no such thing as the beautiful sisters number 86 and number 88. Su Yun racked his brains but still couldn't figure it out. Therefore, he wanted to wait for more guests to come up and see how they made their requests. Then, he could learn from them. In the end, the 5 customers who came disappointed Su Yun. All of them asked for a foot treatment, and no one asked for any special service. He waited for more than an hour. It was already past 9:30. Just when Su Yun was about to give up and leave, the waiter who served Su Yun first walked up to Su Yun again. Brother, do you want to find 2 sisters to play with? What was the meaning of this? Why do I suddenly have something to play with? Su Yun pretended to look at the waiter deeply. Brother, are you kidding me? Brother, don't misunderstand. I don't dare. The waiter nodded and bowed. Brother, this is your first time here, right? You don't know. We are very strict here now. We don't dare to do this kind of special service openly. We can only wait until after this time, when our boss can get news from the police about whether there will be a sudden inspection. Only then will we dare to play. It's the end of the year. You know, the inspection is just a formality. It's mainly for the leaders to collect some fees for the new year. Only when you are full can you avoid the inspection. Su Yun nodded meaningfully. So, according to you, there won't be any inspection tonight? The waiter nodded attentively. Brother, don't worry. Our boss has a strong relationship. As long as he gives us a confirmation, there won't be any problems. You can go up and play without worry. Su Yun was really impressed. These people had too many tricks up their sleeves. There was a saying, there are policies at the top, there are countermeasures at the bottom. Things like corruption, dereliction of duty, and so on continued. It wasn't because these officials didn't have the willpower to resist these sugar-coated bullets, but their willpower was really not enough to resist these sugar-coated bullets. The sugar-coated bullets now were different from the sugar-coated bullets in the past. The sugar-coated bullets now were too powerful. They would hit wherever you pointed, hitting the vital parts of these people. If you liked money, then hit him with the money cannon. If you liked women, then hit him with the beauty cannon. If you liked antiques and jade, then hit him with the antique jade cannon. Anyway, no matter what interests or hobbies they had, they would definitely hit him without any discussion. In the end, they would only stop when he became their protection. Su Yun was led to a small elevator by the waiter. He pressed the button to open the elevator door and gestured for Su Yun to enter. After Su Yun entered the elevator, he stretched out 4 fingers. Su Yun knew what he meant, so he directly pressed the button for the 4th floor. The structure of this Amazon rainforest was actually not complicated. The first floor was the bathing area, the first floor was the reception hall, the second floor was the lounge where Su Yun was just now, and the third floor was the entertainment area. Every time there was a day worth celebrating, they would invite performances, and there would also be some raffle activities. In fact, it was a form of inducing consumption. As for the shady business, there was definitely some shady business. The 4th floor was obviously a place for the prostitution business. When Su Yun walked out of the elevator, he was shocked by the 2 girls wearing bikinis at the entrance of the elevator on the 4th floor. Weren't they wearing too little and too transparent? Words like flirtatious couldn't even describe them. "Hello, sir, please come in," the 2 of them said in unison. Hearing the sound of welcoming guests at the door, an ant-like manager immediately came up. This position should be called the brothel keeper." The brothel keeper smiled and greeted, "Io, your presence brings light to my humble abode. We have never met such a handsome young man in this place. If any girl can get your patronage today, then she is really lucky to have accumulated good karma in her previous life." In this line of work, her mouth was really clever. Su Yun didn't doubt at all. If he was a fat pig boss with a big belly, the brothel keeper would still greet him with a smile and say, "Io, your presence brings light to my humble abode. We have never met a boss with such an aura like you in this place. If any girl can get your patronage today, then she is really lucky to have accumulated good karma in her previous life. Handsome, what price do you want a girl to accompany you?" The brothel keeper said, "With your image, you should at least find a girl above the model level. Those rouge girls are definitely not worthy of you. Don't you think so?" Su Yun hid back a bit, afraid that the brothel keeper's fat body would touch him. "I have a hobby. Whether they are beautiful or not, I like 2 together. Io, a pair of swallows, young man's body is so strong." The brothel keeper smiled charmingly. "Don't worry, you are the first customer to come up today. I will definitely pick 2 good girls for you. I guarantee that they will serve you until you fly to the 9th heaven. If it's not satisfying, then it's free." Su Yun interrupted the brothel keeper's words. "I haven't finished yet. It's just that 2 together is not satisfying enough. I want 2 who look the same." The brothel keeper slapped her thigh. "Young man, you came to the right place this time. You can go around the whole city. Except for the pair of beautiful sisters in our bathing center, there is no other place. I will arrange it for you right away. You can go to the big bedroom and wait." Chapter 467. In less than 2 minutes, number 86 and number 88 walked up to Su Yun, hand in hand. Putting aside their occupation, these 2 girls could still be considered as girls who could be taken out in public. He really didn't know why they still needed to do such a job with such looks. They weren't even as noble as those mistresses who were kept by corrupt officials and rich businessmen. At least, after those women were 30 years old, if they did well, they could get a house, a car, and some savings. Even if they were exposed, they could be worshipped as anti-corruption heroes. There were people who could take down Lei Zhengfu in 12 seconds. But what would these girls who came out to do this end up with? A body full of incurable diseases and painful memories full of scars? "Hello, sir." The 2 girls bowed. When Su Yun saw these 2 girls for the first time, he felt that these 2 girls were not the kind of girls who came out to be prostitutes willingly. Perhaps everyone who came out to be prostitutes was not willing. But these 2 girls looked very special because their expressions were very similar to Liang Shan's sister whom Su Yun met when he went to Fan Nanjie's bathing center in Hadong. He remembered reading an article written by a manager of the bathing center. What he wrote was very profound. He said that they might be good friends with you and would be loyal to you. They would also love a man deeply, but they didn't like people around them to sympathize with them. They chose this path because they didn't want to admit and face that they were pitiful people in this society. If you wanted to be good to them, if you wanted to pity them, then patronizing their bodies was the most practical concern in their eyes. These words seemed ordinary, but if one really thought about it carefully, one would understand that it was the real meaning of life is hard, don't expose people. Their lives were really so difficult. They hoped that those things would never be exposed. That person summed it up well. Prostitutes were also human, and it was not easy for them. Heartache was heartache, but this was their own choice. Su Yun could only say that a pitiful person must have something hateful. "Sir, what service do you need from us?" Number 86 was the first to speak. "You can choose our service items. We will charge you if you want to do it, and we won't charge you if you don't want to do it." How would Su Yun know about these things? He had never enjoyed such services before, so he could only ask for an explanation. "Then, can you tell me what services you have?" "There's a bathroom here. We can start with the underwater activities. There's water snake around the waist, moon exploration in the water, around the world, and paradise in the water." Number 88 said, "Each item can be served separately. The price is the same. 10 minutes, 200. Damn, it's quite expensive." Su Yun shook his head and said, "Well, I just took a shower. If I take another shower, my skin will peel off. Forget it. Would you like to see me dance, sir?" Number 86 said, "It's also 10 minutes. You can choose between Wild Dance of the Golden Snake or Wild Cat Hair Wave. The price is 160 yuan. This name is too explicit, and it's so vulgar. It's obvious that the person who came up with this name isn't some cultured person." Su Yun still shook his head. He didn't want to see two quiet girls shaking their hair in front of him as if they were on drugs. "It seems that Sir likes to be direct. Then let's start with Gentle and Gentle, then High Mountain and Flowing Water, Circling Dragon Spits Pearl, and Poisonous Dragon Turns." Number 88 continued to introduce. Number 86 didn't want to be outdone. "There's also 10 Fingers Playing the Piano, Red Lips Kiss, Desert Storm, Dragonfly Skimming the Water, Dragon Cave Exploration, Monkey Picking Peach, and Toppling the Mountains and Overturning the Seas, Straight to the Heart of the Dragon." When Su Yun heard the last part, he couldn't help but feel his chrysanthemum tighten. Although Su Yun hadn't eaten pork before, he knew the lines of Going West. Although he didn't understand other things, he was very clear about Straight to the Heart of the Dragon. Even if he was offered money, he wouldn't play with this service. If he didn't even see Gua Chuanjiang and Tai Zhonghua after coming to this damned place and had to leave while singing that his chrysanthemum was covered in wounds, then it would really be like going for wool and coming home shorn. Seeing this customer's head shaking like a rattledrum, Number 88 was a little disappointed. "Then let's try Star Wars, Jade Hand Guanyin, Shisha Pushing the Mill, Ice and Fire World? Or let's try the characteristics, Upside Down Golden Hook, Heavenly Maiden Scattering Flowers, Golden Rooster Standing Alone, Flat Plains?" Number 86 quickly added, "Stop, stop, 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 stop." Su Yun said the word stop 5 times in a row. He was really dizzy. This small bath center really made use of Hua Xia's extensive and profound idioms to the extreme. People who could think of these idioms should be F*King professors in the Chinese department of Yenjing University. Only using the word talented to describe them was really burying their talent. Number 86 and Number 88 saw that the customer was anxious, so they didn't dare to say anything. They sat quietly on the side, wanting to hear what the customer wanted. If they came and didn't want to serve anything, it would be against the rules. This customer was really strange. Did he only want to pay them the starting appearance fee and not consume anything? One had to know that the appearance fee was fully collected by the company. No matter how many services they performed, the company would take half of the service. That was their income. If the customer didn't do anything, they wouldn't have any income. What should they do? How long would it take for your full service? Su Yun asked. 120 minutes. Number 88 said in a low voice. Okay, 2 hours. You'll stay here for 2 hours. Su Yun, I don't need you to do anything, but you can write that I've enjoyed your full service. This way, you'll make a lot of money and won't have to work hard. Is that okay? The two sisters looked at each other. What was this customer selling in his gourd? You're not a plainclothes officer, are you? Plainclothes officer? Su Yun spat. Which part of me looks like a police officer? Forget it. Since it's like this, I'll tell you the truth. Is there a customer with the surname Tai who often comes to look for you and patronizes your business? The two nodded very cooperatively. During the training, the boss said that he wouldn't do anything to them when he came in and would still pay them. There must be a trap. He definitely wasn't a normal customer. They had to be on guard. I know that person. I have a conflict with him. I don't want him to be happy. Su-Yun, do you understand now? The two nodded cooperatively again. At this moment, the brothel owner knocked on the door. Sir, sorry to disturb you. Su-Yun scolded. What's the matter? Well, a customer just came. He directly asked for number 86 and number 88 service. I told him that they're here to serve you, but he said that if you're willing to change 2 girls, or even 4, it's not a problem. As long as you give number 86 and number 88 to him, he'll pay for you. Tell him to get lost. I don't lack this money. Didn't I tell you that I like this kind of people? Su-Yun was furious. Su-Yun had done some research on psychology. When dealing with people in this kind of place, he had to be ruthless, bold, and tough. Otherwise, they would think that you were a pushover. Sure enough, after being scolded by Su-Yun, the brothel owner quieted down and left quickly. However, Su-Yun didn't stay quiet for more than 5 minutes. A waiter knocked on the door again. Hello, sir. Our manager has brought you some drinks. He apologizes for what happened just now. After getting Su-Yun's permission, the waiter came in with the tea. Su-Yun heard him whisper to number 88. Your regular customer is here. This customer won't let them in, so they went to the 3rd floor to watch the performance. Tell me immediately when the clock goes down. I'll inform the customer. Why didn't he leave after putting down the tea? Su-Yun glared at him. The waiter hurriedly left. Number 86 and number 88 were very nervous. They really couldn't understand this customer. Su-Yun pointed out the 2 girls first because he wanted to know if Tai Zhonghua was here or not. Now that Tai Zhonghua was here, it meant that Guo Chuanjiang must be here too. Since these 2 were here, Chan Yazhou should be here too. These 3 people could reach an agreement at any time. Su-Yun had to stop them. What time does the performance on the 3rd floor start? Su-Yun asked. Number 86 answered carefully. It has started now. Sir, if you want to watch the performance, you can return our clock. We can help you apply for a refund of our appearance fee. Really? But Su-Yun said in a rich and imposing manner, I don't care about such a small amount of money. I want all of your services. If you want to make money, then tick all of your services and stay here for 2 hours. If anyone dares to leave early, then don't blame me for complaining. After that, Su-Yun got up and tidied up his loose bathrobe. Then, using the excuse of going downstairs to get cigarettes, he left the flesh room on the 4th floor and went directly upstairs to the 3rd floor. The 3rd floor was indeed a performance hall. The stage was dazzling, and a vulgar 2-people rotation was being performed. Below the stage, there were hundreds of seats neatly arranged. Many of them were 3 or 4 people sitting around a table. They were drinking tea and eating sunflower seeds, laughing as they watched the vulgar performance on the stage. Su-Yun found an inconspicuous seat and sat down. His eyes quickly searched the crowd. Soon, he saw Guo Chuanjiang's fat body. There were 2 people drinking tea and chatting with Guo Chuanjiang at the same table. One of them wore gold-rimmed glasses and looked very refined. His hairstyle and beard were very well trimmed. Obviously, he was a person with good taste. The man sitting between Guo Chuanjiang and the man with glasses looked much rougher. He did not care about his appearance when he drank tea. At first glance, he looked like a nouveau riche. Based on the behavior of these 2 people, Su-Yun could basically judge that the gold-rimmed glasses must be the boss of Fengda Real Estate, Chan Yazhou. And the nouveau riche between Chan Yazhou and Guo Chuanjiang must be the secretary of Quicksand Village, Tai Zhonghua. After the 2-people rotation performance on the stage, the host went on stage to start the lucky draw. The lucky draw was very simple. It was from 1 to 100 things. 100 things could turn the tables. 10 yuan could turn the tables. If there was a word behind it, then it was a win. The first prize was to be the groom for free. Chapter 468. Looking at the uninvited guest in front of him, large beads of sweat appeared on Guo Chuanjiang's forehead. Wasn't Su Yun's appearance too sudden? Could it be that Zhuo Meiyan really wanted to fall out with him? That wouldn't be good for Zhuo Meiyan. Guo Chuanjiang swallowed hard. If Zhuo Meiyan dared to let Su Yun make a move on him here, then she wouldn't be able to get this piece of land. If it involved violence, he would sue her to the end. Everyone would fight to the death. No one would be able to live more comfortably than the other. No one would be able to sleep peacefully. Zhuo Meiyan probably already thought of this, so she didn't make a move on Guo Chuanjiang. And now, Su Yun wouldn't care so much. Su Yun's special identity determined that he could use violence. It wasn't that no one cared about him, but he had a legitimate identity. And this identity was given to him by Qin Wan and Yi Fala. It should be known that Su Yun didn't only have Zhuo Meiyan behind him. There was also Shen Zhong's Black Widow, as well as the famous Hua Xia's anti-narcotics policewoman. Boss Gua, who is this? Chen Yazhou was able to go from a button business to a leather shoe business, and then from a leather shoe business to a real estate business. Naturally, he had his own unique abilities. When he saw Guo Chuanjiang's gaze on this stranger, he knew that the two knew each other. However, Chen Yazhou didn't think that Su Yun could be Zhuo Meiyan's man. He thought that Su Yun was like him, someone who had colluded with Guo Chuanjiang to steal the quicksand golden shore. So his tone was somewhat unfriendly. As the big boss of Fengda Real Estate Company, Limited, how could he not have a temper? Su Yun was generous. He took the initiative to extend his hand. Fengda's boss Chen, haha. Did I guess wrong? Chen Yazhou felt even more uncertain after hearing Su Yun's words. He passively reached out to shake hands with Su Yun, but unfortunately, Su Yun was already tired of waiting. When Chen Yazhou reached out his hand, he withdrew his friendly hand. Su Yun's action was a resounding slap to anyone's face. Chen Yazhou's face instantly changed color. This young man dared to do such a thing to him. He was definitely not a good person. Secretary Tai, nice to meet you. Su Yun no longer paid attention to Chen Yazhou and directly turned his eyes to Tai Zhonghua. After correctly guessing Chen Yazhou, Su Yun could be more certain that the person in front of him was definitely the party secretary of Quicksand Village. Nice to meet you. Tai Zhonghua froze for a moment, then looked at Guo Chuanjiang. Xiao Gua, this friend is... Why don't you introduce him to us? Don't keep us in suspense. Guo Chuanjiang's face swelled red, but because Su Yun was too fierce, he didn't dare to flare up. He could only lower his head and whisper into Su Yun's ear. Su Yun, you better not mess around. I've already stated my conditions. As long as Zhuo Meiyan meets my conditions, I guarantee that this land will still belong to Sky Entertainment. But if you want to play hard, don't blame me for fighting you to the death. Right now, the country can severely crack down on those who use violent means to buy land. If you don't want Sky Entertainment to get into trouble, then don't play that game with me. Su Yun's mouth slanted up, and his smile was cold and evil. Boss Gua, you seem to have forgotten one thing. I'm now in charge of Sky Entertainment. Let alone 500 million, even if it's 500 yuan, if I don't agree, Zhuo Meiyan won't give it to you. Guo Chuanjiang suddenly felt a mouthful of blood rush to his head. Su Yun, playing hard with me is useless. Without waiting for Guo Chuanjiang to finish his sentence, Su Yun didn't even get up from his chair. Instead, he lifted his leg and slammed Guo Chuanjiang's fat face into the table. The teacups on the table all fell over with a crash. You say it's useless? Then let's see if it's useful. Su Yun's face was full of confidence. Guo Chuanjiang struggled in pain, but couldn't move an inch. Su Yun's strength was far greater than Zhuo Meiyan's. Guo Chuanjiang was nothing in front of him. Seeing Guo Chuanjiang being pressed under the feet of this young man named Su Yun, Chen Yazhou's throat moved, and his face became weak. He was a businessman, a civilized businessman. But no matter how civilized a businessman was, if he didn't have connections with the underworld, then he wouldn't be able to do business this big. In the real estate business, one must have connections with the gods and cows. Su Yun was an expert, and Chen Yazhou could naturally tell. Tai Zhonghua's face also changed. He knew that this person didn't come with good intentions. Friend, you're doing this in public. Aren't you afraid that the police will invite you for tea? Secretary Tai, you must be joking. I just helped you order number 86 and 88. Both of them are still waiting for you in the private room upstairs. Su Yun smiled slightly. You're not afraid of the police inviting you for tea? Of course I'm not afraid. Tai Zhonghua snorted coldly. Young man, before you speak, you should be clear of your status. Even if the police are here now, I'm afraid they won't dare to invite me to the police station for tea. Ha ha ha, before you challenge me, why don't you look in the mirror? Su Yun shrugged. Oh, is that so? Secretary Tai, have you heard of the saying, extreme joy begets sorrow? Hee, before you said that sentence, why didn't you consider whether I'm a police officer or not? As soon as Su Yun said this, Tai Zhonghua's face turned red and white. It was not a normal color at all. If he was caught by the police with this identity of his, with the current severe punishment of the country's cadres, he would be in jail for 2 years, let alone continuing to be the village party secretary. Chen Yazhou was also afraid. His face turned the same color as a pig's liver. After all, he was also a person of status. If this spread out, how could he face others in the future? Moreover, a considerable part of his wealth was due to his wife. If his wife knew, it was very likely that he would be kicked out of the marriage with nothing. Then, his life would be over. Don't be so nervous, I'm just saying it casually. The smile on Su Yun's face became more and more evil to the two. Mr. Chen, if you want to escape unscathed, I advise you to leave now. You can't get the land of Quicksand Golden Shore. If you don't believe me, we can make a bet. If I lose, I'll give my life to you. If you lose, you just have to cut off 3 of my fingers. What do you say? Chen Yazhou's Adam's apple moved. He swallowed a few mouthfuls of saliva. The ruthlessness between this guy's eyebrows made him uneasy. He couldn't help but feel his fingers go numb. He was afraid. The fear that came from the bottom of his heart could not be described with words. Su Yun narrowed his eyes and looked at him until Chen Yazhou panicked and avoided his gaze. Then, he shifted his gaze to Tai Zhonghua. Secretary Tai, you know very well how much money Sky Entertainment Group spent on you for the land in your village. If you don't know, I can show you the bill. If you think that the money you took is not enough to get you sentenced to 10 or 8 years in jail, then you can sign the land to someone else. Let me give you a friendly reminder. Don't think that Fatty Gua is a good person. He bribed you, you bribed him, and he secretly recorded everything in order to control you. Gua Chuanjiang heard this and wanted to refute. However, Su Yun's heel nailed his face to the table. He stuttered and couldn't say anything. The atmosphere at the scene was chaotic because someone had won the first prize and would be the groom for free tonight. Gua Chuanjiang couldn't say anything. Tai Zhonghua's eyes were fixed on Gua Chuanjiang's body like a dead fish. Any trust built for benefits could be destroyed in an instant. At this moment, Gua Chuanjiang really wanted to explain that he really didn't do those things. He wanted Tai Zhonghua to not believe his nonsense. Tai Zhonghua didn't want their years of friendship to be damaged because of his testimony. He really didn't do anything that would harm their interests. Chen Yazhou also started to have other ideas. If the evidence of Tai Zhonghua accepting bribes was found, then he would definitely step down. At that time, Quicksand Village would change to a new party secretary. At that time, he could make the first move and get rid of the new party secretary. That would mean that the land was very likely to be his. Just as everyone was thinking about their own ulterior motives, the lights at the scene were suddenly turned on. All the guests were shocked into silence. Who wouldn't be afraid to come to a place like this? Even if they weren't caught in the act, it would still be awkward if the police came to crack down on prostitution. Sorry for the disturbance, everyone. All the tea today is on the house. It's on me. A young manager in a black suit smiled and said, "This is an emergency. I hope you can understand." Behind the young man in the black suit stood more than a dozen strong men. At first glance, it was obvious that each of them could fight. Behind these strong men stood a pair of twin girls. Su-yun looked at them. Weren't they number 86 and number 88? Could it be that they couldn't wait for him and couldn't endure the thirst? Just as Su-yun saw them, they also saw Su-yun. They pointed at him directly. "It's him. Manager, he's there." F***CK, betraying me? Su-yun was speechless. He felt sorry for you when he saw you. Forget it. Now that things had come to this, he could only take one step at a time. The two girls followed the guidance of the head procuress. As long as the customer was willing to pay but didn't touch them, there must be a trap. No matter what kind of trap it was, they must find a way to inform the head procuress. Therefore, as soon as Su-yun left the room with the big bed on the 4th floor, the two girls ran out and told the head procuress what happened. The head procuress knew that there was a suspicious person in the shop. Without hesitation, he brought the two girls and a group of fighters out to identify and find the person. He wouldn't let something happen in the shop when he was on duty. If that happened, the boss would be mad at him. "Friend, since you're here to play, why are you so careless?" The young head procuress smiled and walked forward. "Is it your first time here? Don't you know the rules? You can't make trouble in the shop." Su-yun's foot was still pressing down on Guo Chuanjiang's face. He was still sitting on the chair according to the prescribed order. Beaming with smiles, he said, "You really guessed right, this is indeed the first time I came here to play. As the saying goes, the ignorant are innocent. I hope the manager will be magnanimous." "Haha." The head procuress sneered. "I've given you all the face. Now you take the initiative to leave with me. Or what do you want? You choose." As soon as the voice fell, the dozen fighters began to slowly approach Su-yun. Su-yun's face relaxed and smiled. "Manager, you said you'll let me choose, but in fact, you didn't give me a chance to choose." As he spoke, Su-yun suddenly kicked Chen Yaozhou's butt and hooked his chair up. His ankle exerted force and directly threw the chair out. It fiercely smashed into the surrounding fighters. Chen Yaozhou was completely at a loss. His butt fell to the ground. He was confused. He hurriedly rolled and crawled away from the fight scene. Tai Zhonghua also followed and ran. But he was kicked by Su-yun and fell to the ground. Chapter 469. Su-yun's move was indeed effective. The dozen or so thugs who were originally aggressive were instantly reduced by half. They were good at pinching soft persimmons, but when it came to dealing with real fierce people, these guys were still lacking. Those who dared to cause trouble in Brother Lei's place were definitely not good people. After all, in their hearts, they felt that no one didn't know that this place belonged to Brother Lei. "Kid, do you know whose place this is? You dare to cause trouble here? I think you're messing with the Tai Sui." When he saw that the person under Su-yun's foot was actually their VIP customer, Guo Chuanjiang, his eyes widened. "Let our customer go immediately, or I can report you to the police for endangering social order and public safety." Guo Chuanjiang often brought Tai Zhonghua here. Just in this bath center, they spent thousands or even tens of thousands of yuan every day. If it didn't add up to 1 million, it would be at least 800,000 yuan. The manager here naturally worshipped him like a god of wealth. How could he not be anxious when he saw his god of wealth being stepped on by a freak? If this god of wealth didn't come to the place to send money because of this, wouldn't he lose a few thousand yuan of performance bonus every month? Who wouldn't go against money? Now that Su-yun was dealing with Guo Chuanjiang, it was equivalent to hindering the manager's source of income. It would be strange if he wasn't anxious. Su-yun sneered. "Call the police? This is a chicken coop. You can report it to me." "I haven't heard of any crime of endangering social order and public safety, but I heard that Article 358 of the criminal law says that if you organize others to sell or force others to sell, you'll be sentenced to more than 5 years and less than 10 years in prison. If it's serious, you'll be sentenced to more than 10 years in prison or life imprisonment. I know you're not the boss, but you're still a cadre. If you don't report what you know, it's equivalent to covering up a criminal. At least 5 years. The manager on duty didn't know anything about the law. When he heard Soo-yun's words, his brain buzzed. He knew that this kid absolutely couldn't be let go. If he was let go, then they would be in big trouble. They had to catch him and bring him to Brother Lei. What are you all standing there for? Go. Did Big Brother Lei raise you guys for nothing? The manager on duty scolded, and the dozen or so thugs no longer pretended to be eager to fight. They directly swarmed over. They had Brother Lei's support in everything they did, so they were not afraid of getting into trouble. At most, they would kill someone and run away. Overconfidence would often cause people to lose completely. At least, it was like this now. More than 10 thugs who originally thought that they could tear Soo-yun into pieces were all lying on the ground in just 2 minutes. Some of them were holding their deformed arms with painful expressions, while others were holding their crotches with pale faces. Throughout the entire process, Soo-yun didn't even get up. He sat on the chair the whole time, and his other foot never left Gua Chuanjiang's face. Gua Chuanjiang groaned under his foot, and his entire face began to deform. He could only use his hands to hold onto Soo-yun's ankle, fearing that Soo-yun would accidentally exert the wrong force during the fight and directly crush his head. Seeing that more than a dozen thugs were killed in a short time, the surrounding guests began to retreat. No one wanted to provoke such a fierce person. Who the hell are you? The manager on duty's tone was no longer so tough. Brother, if there's anything, can we talk it out? This is Brother Lei's place. You also know that Brother Lei is a loyal person. Everything can be discussed. Let's not fall out with each other. Soo-yun smiled. It seems that you guys started it first, right? Haha, that's our fault. I'm also worried about my guests. The manager on duty looked at Gua Chuanjiang. Soo-yun raised his eyebrows. I must take these 3 people away today. If you insist on keeping them, then don't blame me for not giving you face. I've said what I should say. Their expenses here and my expenses here will not be less than a penny. You guys should obediently let them go and don't cause trouble for yourselves. Suddenly, a loud voice came from afar. My guests, if they don't want to leave, no one can take them away. The manager on duty was surprised and happy. He hurriedly followed the voice and greeted respectfully. Hello, Brother Lei. Trash. The newcomer sneered. No one would believe that this ordinary-looking man who was neither tall nor short, neither fat nor thin, was actually the man who could lead the entire underground forces in Shenzhong City, Shirley. Shirley slapped the manager on duty. The manager's face instantly swelled up, but he didn't dare to fart. He obediently retreated to the side. Shirley strode in front of Soo-yun, pulled over a chair, and sat down facing Soo-yun. Speaking of which, Shirley was definitely not a person to be trifled with. Just hearing about his deeds was enough to make ordinary people tremble in fear. Shirley's family was quite well off now. His father was a landowner. In his hometown, a small county with a population of 600,000, he was definitely the richest person. His mother's family was a local business in Qingdao, dealing in cotton and linen textiles. They were definitely capitalists. In their heyday, their annual income was over 1 million taels of silver. Their family owned 5 seaside villas near the Jiang residence, where Chairman Jiang used to live. The people living in the area were either officials or rich. However, in that era, Shirley's parents didn't come from good backgrounds. One was a landowner's son, and the other was a capitalist's daughter. Therefore, as soon as Shirley could remember, he had a nickname that left a deep impression on him. He was called the landowner's son. Because of this nickname, Shirley's entire life underwent a huge change. Because his parents were well off and educated, they were busy with their careers and neglected to take care of Shirley. Shirley almost never felt any warmth from his parents. When he was in elementary school, his parents went to Yanjing because of some matters. He was alone without anyone to supervise him. In school, people bullied him, scolded him, and called him the landowner's son. He had the desire to chop off the heads of those who scolded him and kick them like a ball. However, because he couldn't reach the knife hanging on the wall when he was young, he could only grab a small fork to eat with and put it in his pocket. As long as a child dared to scold him, he wouldn't hesitate to take out the small fork and leave 3 holes in the child's face. Moreover, he didn't feel guilty about his actions since he was young. He felt that he should do what he did. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Let's see who would dare to bully him. As he grew older, Shirley became even more uncontrollable. The brothers who had played with him since he was young, to put it bluntly, none of them were not ruthless characters. It was really like the saying, fish look for fish, shrimp look for shrimp, and turtles look for turtles. However, Shirley didn't become like this at that time. The catalyst for his great underground career in Shenzhen was due to a frame-up. Back then, he was working as a security guard in a machinery factory with a salary of 300 yuan a month. When he was on the night shift, the security guard's woman came, saying that she was looking for her man. Shirley said that the man wasn't here. In the end, the woman started to take off her clothes and seduce him. How could a young and energetic man resist this kind of temptation? Shirley didn't think much and wanted to take advantage of the situation to do the woman. Just as he slept with the woman, the security guard suddenly came out to catch them in the act. Shirley was beaten up and forced to pay 10,000 yuan in compensation. Feeling that he was in the wrong, Shirley admitted defeat. After all, he slept with the security guard's woman. Fortunately, Shirley had a lot of friends, and they were all youths in society who did things like stealing. However, 10,000 yuan was definitely not a small amount in that era. Although it was not an astronomical figure, it was definitely easier to gather 200,000 or 300,000 yuan in this era. After gathering 10,000 yuan, Shirley paid the compensation. He thought that nothing would happen from then on. However, one time when he went to the toilet, he heard the old employees in the factory muttering that he, Shirley, was tricked by the security guard couple. The security guard captain and his wife were not good people. His wife was a slut, and the security guard captain was even more despicable. He used his wife to seduce the new employees in the factory and then blackmail them for money. This was already the umpteenth time. Shirley knew that he was being played. The ruthlessness in his heart was aroused. That night, he led his dozen brothers to do the first evil thing in his life. They beat the security guard captain until he was crippled. After doing this, Shirley ran away for a year. When he came back, his reputation was already very famous. Many punks came to find him and wanted to work for him. In this way, Shirley began to form gangs. In the beginning, he looked for thieves or gangsters to collect protection money. Later, all the thieves and gangsters followed him. He started to collect money in the nightclubs in the entertainment centers. Until now, 80% of the nightclubs in the entire Koto city were under his jurisdiction. It was only a dozen years, but he was able to achieve this by not only relying on a pair of iron fists, but also courage and loyalty. Shirley's business had many customers because of his loyalty. Those who came to his place to play and spend money were his friends. He would never allow others to touch his friends. "Brother, I know you're good at fighting, but I'll just say one sentence and let my guests go." After Shirley sat down, he took out his gun without saying anything. "You can ask around in the entire Koto city. I, Shirley, am a man of my word. Either you let my guests go, apologize, and get out of here, or you leave your life here." Su Yun still didn't move. He said calmly, "Then it's not easy. You're a man of your word, and I'm also a man of my word. You asked me to let them go, but I'm taking them away today. Then between the two of us, there must be one who has to say one and take two." Shirley looked at the young man in front of him in surprise. He really couldn't believe that this young man dared to talk to him like this. He was holding a shiny black star pistol in his hand, and the distance between them was at most 5 meters. He only needed to raise his head and lightly press the trigger, and everything would be over. Shirley had done so many things in his life, and had seen so many fierce people. But the most courageous one was the young man in front of him. Faced with an answer that he had never heard in his life, Shirley was really speechless for a moment. Chapter 470. The gears of time were slowed down as if they had been chained by a hoop spell. Shirley's forehead began to sweat. As a hero of the generation in Qingdao City, as an outstanding young man who had replaced the old men of the previous generation, Shirley could not help but admit defeat in the confrontation of gazes. He sensed a special aura from the man in front of him. This was definitely not the first time Shirley felt this kind of aura. The first person who gave him this kind of feeling was a man named Xie refer to ambiguous killer for details. The faint aura emitted from their bodies made people feel suffocated. Shirley was able to get to where he was today not only because of his boiling black blood. It was all because of his experience. Because Koto Island had the largest port in North China, there were many businessmen from Japan and Korea. Therefore, some countries set up embassies to manage this place. Once, a staff member of the Japanese embassy bullied a young lady in Shirley's place. In a fit of anger, Shirley brought people to smash the Japanese embassy. Fortunately, he was recognized by Xie, so Xie used his connections to help him solve the problem. With the help of Shen Baowen and the Yen sisters, who were absolute goddesses and strong women, Shirley's matter was settled with just a few words. Since then, Shirley only obeyed Xie. If Xie hadn't left Koto Island, this place would definitely not be Shirley's world. "Brother, what do you do?" Shirley's tone had started to soften. He just wanted to test him. If this person was really the same as Master Xie, then even if he had 180 times the courage, he wouldn't dare to act recklessly. After so many years of entrenching himself in Koto Island with a solid foundation, he hadn't been defeated by anyone. It was enough to prove how good he was at dealing with people. Su Yun thought for a while and said with a smile, "Let's put it this way. Have you heard about the huge heroin smuggling case that Shen Jiang cracked a few days ago? In your line of work, it's impossible not to pay attention to this kind of news. If you investigate it closely, you should be more careful and pay attention." Shirley's face was solemn. "You mean the case of Shen Jiang's Black Widow, Yi Fala?" "I have indeed heard of this before, but I can guarantee that although I, Shirley, am not doing any shady business, at least it is based on mutual consent. The young ladies who work for me are all willing. I will definitely not use drugs to control the young ladies. Moreover, I once swore that no matter what kind of atrocities I did, I would never touch that thing. Everyone on the Zither Island knows this. Whoever dares to touch that thing on the Zither Island is going against me, Shirley. Anyone who goes against me, I dare to shoot him dead. But I won't use that to harm innocent people to make a fortune. I don't want that kind of money, and I don't want it." Su Yun clapped his hands and praised. "Good, well said. Then do you know that the person under my feet is Yefala's old business partner? You should know what I mean. What business was he in?" Shirley was clearly enraged. Gua Chuanjiang mumbled a couple of times under Su Yun's feet. He had never seen Yi Fala before. Since when did he do business with Yi Fala? He wanted to refute, but Su Yun's foot was firmly on the ground, and he couldn't say a word. Damn it! Shirley's mouth twitched. He obviously couldn't accept people like Gua Chuanjiang. But then he thought, why did he believe what others said? Why did he believe Su Yun? "Brother, don't blame me for being suspicious. With your courage, I can conclude that you are not a police person." Su Yun nodded and didn't deny it. "To be able to open such a big business in Shenzhen, I can also conclude that you are not a rookie in the underworld. You should know that the underworld is not so easy to survive. There are all kinds of people. Boss, I don't want to cause trouble for you, but the premise is that you don't cause trouble for me." "Then, do you know a person with the code name Q?" Shirley's expression became nervous. Su Yun was obviously stunned. She looked at Shirley in shock and said, "Boss, can the two of us find a quiet place to talk?" Shirley's heart inexplicably surged. He immediately ordered his men to arrest Gua Chuanjiang, Chan Yazhou, and the secretary of Quicksand Village, Tai Zhonghua. At this moment, Shirley no longer treated Su Yun as an outsider. Just as Shirley's men were about to make a move, Tai Zhonghua angrily cursed. "Let's see who dares to touch me. Shirley, do you know who I am? You dare to touch me? I am the secretary of Quicksand Village. If you dare to touch me, do you believe that I will immediately call the police to investigate you? You are just a gangster who runs a chicken coop. You dare to show off your authority in front of me? I think you must have eaten a bear's heart and a leopard's gall." Shirley's face sank. He sneered. "Oh, Quicksand Village's Secretary Tai, right? Let me King tell you, Chief Wang of the police station is my sworn brother, and not only Chief Wang, but also Chief Gua of the Anti-Corruption Bureau, Chief Liu of the Discipline Inspection and Supervision Bureau, and Chief Zhang of the Procuratorate. They are all my King sworn brothers. You can find one of them and try. Come. Find Director Wang. I will ask someone to dial the number for you. You can ask him to investigate me. You are just a village secretary. What are you in front of me? You dare to bluff with me? I will teach you how to write the word, death, later." Tai Zhonghua was angry, but he didn't dare to say anything. He knew that Shirley was powerful in Qingdao, but he didn't expect this guy to be so arrogant. He dared to be so unscrupulous. Although he kept telling himself that Shirley's words were just bragging, he couldn't convince himself in the end. He didn't dare to confront Shirley, who had so many sworn brothers. Boss Shir, don't be like this. Let's talk nicely." Chen Yazhou was so nervous that his face was full of sweat. His glasses slipped off the bridge of his nose again and again. He pushed them up with his index finger again and again. "I am Chen Yazhou of Fengda Group. I think we will have a chance to cooperate. There must be a misunderstanding between this friend and Director Gua. Let's talk nicely." Shirley snorted. "Director Chen of Fengda Group. Oh, I thought Director Chen was at least 20 or 30 years older than me. I didn't expect Director Chen to look only 40 years old. Young and promising. CEO Chen, if CEO Gua wasn't involved in that thing today, I would have taken you as my brother. Unfortunately, I, Shirley, will never make friends with a grandson who touches that thing. Since you are friends with CEO Gua and Secretary Tai, then an enemy's friend is an enemy. Don't tell me you don't understand this simple logic?" After all, Chen Yazhou was alone. He was unfamiliar with Qingdao, so he didn't dare to be rude to a local snake like Shirley. Boss Shir, let me explain. I'm really not familiar with them. They asked me to talk about the land of Quicksand Golden Shore. That's why I came. I'm definitely not friends with them. If I knew that Secretary Tai and Director Gua were such people, I would never come here to talk about business with them." This grandson, he was adding insult to injury. Tai Zhonghua and Gua Chuanjiang were so angry that smoke was coming out of their hearts. 10 minutes ago, for that piece of land, this son of AB T6 lowered himself to serve tea. Now, he turned hostile. "Director Chen, I like people who are loyal." Shirley said, "I hate people who turn hostile faster than flipping a book." Chen Yazhou's face changed. This person was talking about him. Shirley continued, "However, I'll give you face. After all, you're a guest from afar. If you don't want to get involved in this matter, then I won't send you off. Take care." Chen Yazhou, who received the special pardon, hurriedly bowed and thanked him. He couldn't stay in this hooligan's nest for another minute. He would rather not deal with the Qingdao matter than stay in this place and suffer grievances. If he knew that Gua Chuanjiang was so unreliable and even touched the white powder, he wouldn't have cooperated with him even if he was beaten to death. Maybe one day, he would be dragged into the water. It would be troublesome if he was implicated. After Gua Chuanjiang was pressed to the ground by Shirley's underlings, he didn't forget to explain, "Su Yun, you've wronged me. I've never been in contact with Yi Fala. Don't talk nonsense without evidence. You have to be responsible for your words." Su Yun smiled slightly. "Don't worry, I won't let you down. Brother Su Yun, please." Shirley made an inviting gesture to Su Yun and then brought Su Yun directly to his office. Soon, someone brought tea to the room. Shirley waved his hand and signaled for everyone to leave. Su Yun took a sip of tea and said lightly, "Boss Shir, the Q you mentioned to me just now, is his surname Xie?" Shirley was so excited that he suddenly stood up from his chair. "Brother Su Yun." "Oh, no, Grandpa Su. You really know Grandpa Xie?" Su Yun looked at Shirley's excited expression and couldn't help but frown. "Boss Shir, now I'm basically sure that we're talking about the same person. However, I can see from your expression that you must have a good relationship with him. But you can't be sure if I'm his friend. What if I'm his enemy? I'm afraid you're already dead." Shirley became nervous after hearing Su Yun's words. He stretched his hand to the gun on his waist. "If I'm not your friend but your enemy, it's too late for you to take out your gun now." Su Yun continued, "Since I didn't do anything to you, it means that I'm not your enemy. Not only that, old Xie and I are brothers who have gone through life and death together." Shirley instantly heaved a sigh of relief. "Oh, Grandpa Su, you really scared me to death. You're really brothers with Grandpa Xie." "Oh, that's great." Su Yun smiled and nodded. Although he and Xie Fei's were not on the same page, Xie Fei's was a rare type of assassin. He wasn't a killing machine who only killed for money. He had his own principles and beliefs, just like the leader of the Wolf Fong mercenary group, Yi Qian. Xie Fei's had helped Su Yun for no reason before, so Su Yun said that they were brothers who had gone through life and death together. Although he didn't know Xie Fei's identity at that time and didn't contact him after knowing his identity. "What's your relationship with old Xie?" Su Yun was also curious. "You'd better not mention the name Q. I'm afraid you'll get into trouble that you can't solve." Shirley laughed. "I'm where I am today because of Grandpa Xie. Grandpa Su, I felt the same feeling as Grandpa Xie, that's why I couldn't help but ask. I really didn't expect to meet Grandpa Xie's friend. Ha ha ha, Grandpa Su, in the future on Guqin Island, if you need anything, just say the word, and I'll do it without hesitation." Chapter 471. Su Yun approved of Shirley. Although Shirley was a gangster who opened a casino and ran a chicken coop, he relied on his ability to make a living. He never bullied honest people. If he wanted to do something, he would do it to the scum in his industry. In Shirley's words, he felt that only by doing evil could he find the thrill of the black blood boiling. He looked down on people who bullied ordinary people with a machete the most. Therefore, he could be regarded as punishing evil and promoting good, revealing a sense of justice on behalf of heaven like a hero of the Liangshan. If it was said that Shirley had no relationship with Xie Fei's, Su Yun would not believe him so easily. After all, he was the head of the underworld. But now it was different. He could take advantage of Shirley's interpersonal relationships and power in Guqin Island to get the land of Quicksand Golden Shore. Even if he owed Xie Fei's a favor, it would not be too late to pay him back when he had the chance. As for Gua Chuanjiang's matter, Su Yun did not explain further, and Shirley did not ask further. In his eyes, Master Xie's friend was Shirley's friend. If Master Xie had not helped him back then and found an unlucky gambler to take the blame, he would probably still be in prison. Putting aside the fact that he was able to achieve his ambition, whether or not he could get out of prison in this lifetime would be a huge headache. "Boss Shi, since you said so, I really do have something to ask you for help." Su Yun smiled. "You are a person of scene, I am also a straightforward person, so I will not beat around the bush. Don't think that I am too honest and really want to trouble you." Overwhelmed by the favor, Shirley said, "Su Yi, please don't call me Laoban Shi, you can also call me Shi too, you can also call me Lei Zi. If you feel that I have enough I Qi, that I am worthy to be your friend, then don't beat around the bush with me. If you have something to say, just say it, whatever it is, as long as I can do it, no matter how big the price, I will definitely help. If I say that I can't do it, then I can only hope that Master Su doesn't mind. I only have this little ability. I can only meddle in Qingdao's local affairs, such as going to the moon or landing on Mars. Even if you force me, I can't promise you that I can't do it." Boss Shi was too good at telling jokes. If you really want me to call you Stone, then don't call me Grandpa Su. Su Yun, you're making me embarrassed to ask. Don't, please don't. Master Su, you and Master Xie are brothers. In my eyes, it's fate. Shirley said, then I don't care what you call me, in any case, I must call you Su Yi. If you have something you don't open your mouth, that means you are looking down on me, Shirley. Then I can only tell myself that I am not worthy to be Su Ye's brother. Su Yun shook his head helplessly. This Shirley really knew how to talk. Boss Shi, I won't be polite then. I'll be frank. I want the land at Quicksand Golden Shore in Zither Island, but that place is Tai Zhonghua's territory and has the most direct influence on the matter. Everyone's offer is about the same. Whoever can give the villagers better conditions will have an advantage. But those who want that land can offer similar conditions. It depends on what Tai Zhonghua says. Shirley immediately made a decision. Don't worry, Grandpa Su. Leave it to me. I will find someone to put pressure on Tai Zhonghua. Leave it all to me. But Grandpa Su, what do you want to do with that land? To make the world's largest film and television plaza, Sky Entertainment Plaza. Su Yun smiled. To create the Hollywood of the East. Oh my God, this ambition is awesome. Shirley was so shocked that he was prostrating himself on the ground. His eyes widened in surprise. Grandpa Su, Sky Entertainment Group is yours, mine. Since Su Yun had decided to take on this responsibility, of course, he had to shoulder the future of Sky Entertainment. In the past, if anyone asked him, he would definitely say that Sky Entertainment had nothing to do with him. But now, it was different. He had promised to shoulder the future of Sky Entertainment Group. He had to be brave enough to admit that this responsibility was his. Grandpa Su admired. What else could Shirley say? In the end, Tai Zhonghua was released and Guo Chuanjiang was brought to Zhuo Meiyan by Su Yun. Zhuo Yiming stepped forward and kicked Guo Chuanjiang's knee. Guo Chuanjiang knelt down with a thud. Everything that had happened today was like a dream. Even now, Guo Chuanjiang still felt like he was in a trance. He couldn't believe that this was real. Zhuo Meiyan looked at Guo Chuanjiang's depressed face and snorted coldly. Guo Chuanjiang, do you think that I can't find you if you hide in Qingdao? I knew you were staying at Donghai Hotel a long time ago. I just didn't want to kill you. I always thought that you wouldn't dare to destroy Zhang Taisui's last wish. No matter how bad you are, you wouldn't disrespect Zhang Taisui. But now it seems that I was wrong. If Su Yun hadn't intervened today, I'm afraid that Zhang Taisui's last wish would have been destroyed. Guo Chuanjiang, you are a bad person. The word ungrateful is tailor-made for you. Guo Chuanjiang was expressionless. President Zhuo, I admit that I'm a bad person. I admit that I'm ungrateful. But didn't you force me to do all this? If you really gave me the power, would I still do such a thing? I'm afraid that you'll devour Zhang Taisui's everything. If I'm ungrateful, then what about you? His mouth was full of nonsense. Zhuo Meiyan was completely disappointed by this unreasonable person. Guo Chuanjiang, I'm not like you. I gathered all the power in my hands so that I could better hand over the Sky Entertainment Group to Su Yun. But what about you? Did you think that I didn't notice the shady business between you, Qin Tianjian, and Zhou Buocheng? Indeed, it's my fault that I entrusted you with the construction of the film and television square. But don't think that it's because I trust you that I entrusted you with the construction of the film and television square. It's because I don't think you dare to take Zhang Taisui's last wish as a joke. I didn't expect that I was wrong. Not only are you ungrateful, you're also a heartless and unscrupulous person. Guo Chuanjiang was scolded badly, but he didn't have much of a reaction. But when he heard some of the words, he would laugh crazily. I should be grateful to Zhang Taisui, but I don't think I can live for a dead person. Guo Chuanjiang suddenly raised his voice. But what he got in return was Su Yun's heavy slap on his face. Guo Chuanjiang's whole body flew out and hit the wall. President Guo, I'm afraid that you've forgotten your old profession. Do you remember what I said? I can make you lose everything. As long as Yi Fala admits that you had business dealings with her, I can make up a big number and you can only spend the rest of your life in prison. When Su Yun said this for the first time, Guo Chuanjiang didn't believe it. But this time, Su Yun said it again. He really didn't think it was a joke. I'll give you a choice now. You can give all your property back to Sky Entertainment, and I'll leave you 3,000 yuan. It's enough for you to do your old profession, build a shed, make a few tables, and sell knife-cut noodles. You don't have to worry about the city management arresting you every day or punishing you. Sky Entertainment Group will make a special place for you. Su Yun said very calmly, the other choice is to go to prison and make handicrafts and eat prison food for the rest of your life. I advise you not to think that I can't do it. I've always been a man of my words. If you don't believe me, then I'll tell you today. Tomorrow, I'll definitely get the land sale contract for Quicksand Gold Coast. You can wait and see if I can do it. Guo Chuanjiang stared at Su Yun. This kind of slap in the face made him feel extremely depressed. He told himself 100 times that it was impossible, but he couldn't convince himself to believe it. Brother-in-law, are we really going to detain people in private today? This is against the country's laws. Zhuo Yeming chuckled. Su Yun was speechless. This kid said it as if he was a law-abiding person. He had already completely ignored Zhuo Yeming calling him brother-in-law. Don't worry. Detaining people is against the law, but it doesn't matter to me. Since I said that I can send Mr. Guo to prison, it means that I have a relationship with the police. Don't make me say it so bluntly. That way, Mr. Guo won't be too conflicted when he makes his choice. Zhuo Yeming nodded in realization. They all knew that Yi Fala's case was definitely related to Su Yun. Su Yun had a misunderstanding with Zhuo Meiyan because he was too close to Yi Fala. Moreover, with the police's ability, it was impossible for them to deal with Yi Fala. After all, Yi Fala was caught in the Golden Triangle, so Su Yun must have done something. Zhuo Meiyan was sure of this. But now, Zhuo Meiyan was still surprised. How could Su Yun cooperate with the police and be an undercover informant for the police? Didn't he always hate the police the most? Take him away. I have something to say to Su Yun alone. Zhuo Meiyan said to her brother. Zhuo Yeming nodded understandingly, then picked up Guo Chuanjiang. A fatty who weighed more than 200 pounds was like a chick in his hand. He was indeed a natural-born king of strength. Zhuo Meiyan shook her head helplessly. She sighed in her heart. If this kid had used half of the time he spent playing with cars and picking up girls on cultivation, he would have broken through the realm of a supermaster. Soon, only Su Yun and Zhuo Meiyan were left in the room. Zhuo Meiyan didn't say anything. She walked straight to Su Yun and hugged Su Yun tightly. She really needed a hug from Su Yun. Su Yun hadn't come for so many days, and Zhuo Meiyan had suffered all kinds of torment. She originally thought that the film and television plaza project would really fly away like a cooked duck. Su Yun's appearance changed everything. This man who had single-handedly taken on a desperate situation would always be the most special existence in Zhuo Meiyan's heart. She really wanted to snuggle in this man's arms like a little woman, to be this man's strong support and the warmest harbor. Zhuo Meiyan already knew about the existence of the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel in Hadong City. She wouldn't blame Su Yun for having other warm harbors. She only hoped that she could be the one who could give Su Yun the most warmth among these harbors. Obviously, she still didn't know that the warm harbor in Hadong City had been transferred to Shenzhen. Now that you're here, I feel a lot more relaxed. Zhuo Meiyan said lightly. Can you never leave again? I don't want you to leave. I want you to stay by my side forever. Is that okay? Chapter 472. When men and women collide, they produce a very subtle thing called hormones. In scientific terms, it was a trace chemical substance produced by the endocrine organ, released into the blood circulation, and transported to the target organ or tissue to exert a certain effect. Each endocrine gland is capable of producing one or more types of hormones. When Su Yun felt that he was a little hot, he knew that it was his adrenaline acting up again. At this time, Zhuo Meiyan had begun to feel hot all over. Her ears were almost red, so one could imagine how hot her body was now. Su Yun took a deep breath. His mind was blank. It was said that a man and a woman alone together were like dry firewood and a raging fire. It was impossible to not catch fire when placed together. Especially in today's society, if a man and a woman alone together in a room, if you asked 100 people, 100 people would say that something must have happened. They would say that pure friendship between a man and a woman was nonsense. What confidant and confidant, they were all dignified shields. Many girlfriends would warn each other that they could not let their boyfriends have confidants, because if they were red, they would be ruined. Many buddies would also remind each other that they could not let their girlfriends have confidants, because if they were blue, they would be ruined. This was not a joke. It was a variation of the 100% chance of sex between a man and a woman in the same room. Obviously, Su Yun had broken this 100% probability many times, and now he could clearly feel that his position was becoming less and less firm. There were many times when he had a kind of impulsiveness. In the beginning, Su Yun kept telling himself that he must restrain himself. Now, as time passed, his state of mind began to stir. His heart, which used to take the initiative to restrain himself, had been unconsciously worn away. Especially after returning from this trip to the Golden Triangle, Su Yun always felt that his self-control was far worse than before. A few days ago, in the room of the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel in Hadong City, if Guagua had not suddenly broken in, he really did not know if he had done something to Ruan Qingshuang. At this moment, he also began to realize that his mind was beginning to wander. If an elegant dance song was played now, perhaps Su Yun would take the initiative to make a move. Zhuo Meiyan's rapid breathing began to stir Su Yun's heart slightly. Su Yun insisted again, and finally, he could not continue to resist. He could not help but hug Zhuo Meiyan tightly. The moment his lower lips touched Zhuo Meiyan's earlobe, Zhuo Meiyan only felt her legs go soft. Her whole body was paralyzed in Su Yun's arms. She could not stand it anymore. In an instant, Su Yun's mind could no longer control his emotions. When he picked up Zhuo Meiyan, he had already realized that he was irrational. When he continued to throw Zhuo Meiyan on the bed, and even used a slightly forceful method to tear open the buttons on Zhuo Meiyan's collar, he knew that he could no longer stop. The palpitating heartbeat was hard to control. This kind of instinctive attraction between the opposite sex made the two unable to stop. However, the moment before Su Yun was about to punish Zhuo Meiyan on the spot, Su Yun clearly felt his heart thump violently. This kind of violent thump meant that his state of mind was loosening. Suddenly, Su Yun realized a problem. He had been cultivating the virgin technique for many years. It had always been the foundation of his cultivation and mental state to quickly improve. If the virgin technique was broken, it meant that Su Yun was not prepared for a world. However, at this moment, Su Yun's vision turned black. Everything that happened next was lost. When he opened his eyes again, Su Yun was still lying on the bed. However, the person in front of him was no longer Zhuo Meiyan. Instead, it was Zhuo Yeming. This brat actually ignored the unconscious patient's condition and leisurely sat on the sofa, smoking a cigarette. "Brother-in-law, you're finally awake. Not bad. You slept for a whole night and a whole day. If I didn't find a doctor to take a look at you, I would have thought that something big had happened to you." Zhuo Yeming put out the cigarette in his hand. "It couldn't be that you and my sister had a passionate scene last night, right? Brother-in-law, it didn't have to be that intense, right? You even knocked me out? You're working too hard." Su Yun was speechless. This brat's mouth was really too much. "Zhuo Yeming, if your sister heard this, would she seal your mouth or cut your tongue?" "Hee, brother-in-law, if you don't say it, and I don't say it, no one will know what I said." Zhuo Yeming raised his eyebrows and said proudly, "We're all adults, and I'm not from the previous generation who is so conservative. I also know that there are needs between men and women. Look at my sister, no man dares to touch her. I can only count on you, brother-in-law, to help her relieve the side effects of loneliness and emptiness. You don't know, I even suspect that my sister's menopause is coming early." If there's no man to nourish her, my life will be even more difficult in the future. What the hell was he talking about? Su Yun completely didn't understand what this brat wanted to communicate with him. Where's your sister? Zhuo Yeming gave Su Yun a thumbs up. Brother-in-law, you're really awesome. I can't help but admire you. My sister went to sign the contract. Didn't you tell Pig Gua yesterday that you must get the land sale contract of Quicksand Golden Shore today? Last night, you passed out, which made all of us think that it was impossible for you to get the contract. Unexpectedly, at noon today, Shirley, the boss of 4 Rock Group in Qingdao, brought people to find you. He said that he wanted to take you to see Tai Zhonghua to deal with the land sale of Quicksand Golden Shore. You were in a coma, but this matter is equally important, so my sister asked me to look after you, and then she went to deal with the land sale contract. Su Yun was also very surprised. He had been in a coma for a day, but this matter was already dealt with. It's done? About half an hour ago, he called and said that the matter was done, and the contract was signed. Zhuo Yeming said, but my sister can't come back now, so she still has to do the necessary etiquette. Now she's inviting the leaders involved in this matter to dinner. Brother-in-law, I wonder why Shirley, such an arrogant person, is so obedient to you. When he heard that you were in a coma, he almost cried for your funeral. I didn't know he was so arrogant. Just now, my sister said that Shirley almost invited the leaders of Qingdao City for this matter. Now I know that guy is really not simple. Su Yun shook his head helplessly. Okay, I'm fine. You go do your thing. I'm a little hungry. Let's go out and eat something. Zhuo Yeming also shook his head. The main thing is that I'm not busy. My task is to look after you. Now that you're awake and hungry, I'm hungry too. Let's go out and drink something? I've been guarding you here for several hours. You should at least treat me to something good, right? You're going to eat with me? What about Gua Chuanjiang? You won't let him go, will you? Su Yun was stunned. Zhuo Yeming waved his hand. Of course not. Letting him go would be too easy for him. Haha, when you're in a coma, no one has time to care about him. He's tied up in my room. He hasn't eaten anything for a day. I don't know if he's starving to death. Su Yun smiled faintly and thought to herself, with Gua Chuanjiang's fat body, let alone a day, even if he didn't eat for 3 days, he wouldn't starve to death. What do you want to eat, brother-in-law? Zhuo Yeming asked shamelessly. Su Yun thought for a while. Since we're in Qingdao, let's eat some Qingdao specialties. Spicy fried clams, seaweed starch jelly, Spanish mackerel dumplings, 3 delicacies pot stickers, seafood braised noodles. What do you think? Let's find a place to eat these and have some draft beer. Zhuo Yeming smiled bitterly. Brother-in-law, you're really imaginative. In this season, where are you going to drink draft beer? The new year is in a month or 2. Drinking draft beer on such a cold day. You're really imaginative. There might not be draft beer in other places, but this was Qingdao. There was no shortage of draft beer all year round. Su Yun smiled. What do you think? If you dare to drink, come with me. Today, I won't drink anything else but draft beer. If you don't dare to drink, then just stay here and watch Gua Chuanjiang. After I'm full, I'll pack a bowl of chicken soup for you. Zhuo Yeming was provoked by Su Yun and stood up directly. Let's drink. Why don't you drink? You must drink. It's just beer. Who's afraid of you? 4 catties of beer, right? Today, either of us can't come back if we don't drink 3 or 5 bottles of beer. Let's go. Drink with me by the bucket if you dare. Su Yun's heroic spirit was also aroused. The 2 of them left the hotel on foot and found a Qingdao specialty restaurant not far from where they lived. They ordered everything they wanted to eat. 8 dishes filled a small table. They ordered a 40-catty barrel of draft beer for 200 renminbi. Then, they started to compete with each other with big glasses. What happened last night was a mess in Su Yun's mind. Zhuo Meiyan's hot body and snow-white breasts. If it weren't for the cold draft beer, Su Yun really didn't know how to calm himself down. Soon, half of the bucket was gone. Zhua Yeming, who was full of heroic spirit at the beginning, couldn't take it anymore. This thing was too stimulating. Even the locals of Qingdao wouldn't be able to stand drinking cold draft beer in this weather. When the two were full and strolling back to the hotel, they coincidentally bumped into Zhua Meiyan and the others who were driving back. Zhua Meiyan and Feng Ying weren't the only ones in the car. Wu Yuandong was driving and Wang Zhe was sitting in the front passenger seat. Obviously, Wang Zhe was there to help Zhua Meiyan drink. Behind Zhua Meiyan's car was a black BMW X6. This BMW wasn't as particular as Wu Yuandong. It didn't have to find a parking space, so it stopped directly at the entrance of the hotel. A figure jumped out and rushed to Su Yun. "Grandpa Su, you're awake. You scared me to death. I just called one of my brothers. His father is the director of the municipal hospital. I wanted him to help me find a specialist to visit you." Su Yun smiled gratefully. Shirley was really straightforward. The security guards at the entrance of the hotel wanted to stop them, but when they saw the serial number plate with 5 nines, they all stopped. There was only one BMW X6 with 5 nines in Qingdao City. Although this car was worth more than 2 million yuan, it was still Shirley's car. The security guards didn't dare to say anything. Even if the boss came, he wouldn't dare to fart, let alone the security guards. But Su Yun had worked in a hotel before, so he knew it wasn't good to block people's door. He waved his hand and said, "Drive the car aside. Don't block people's door." Chapter 473. At this time, Zhua Meiyan and the others had already gotten out of the car and quickly walked towards Su Yun. Seeing that Su Yun was awake, Wu Yuandong and Wang Zhe were very excited. They had been very worried before. Feng Ying's face also showed a trace of a relaxed smile. If something had happened to this kid, she really didn't know how to deal with it. Zhua Yeming proudly waited for his sister's praise. After all, Su Yun woke up when he was alone. Even if he didn't do anything and just squatted there and watched, his contribution couldn't be ignored and deserved a reward. Who would have thought that Zhua Yeming wouldn't receive a reward, but rather a scolding? Zhua Meiyan could smell the scent of alcohol coming from their bodies as soon as she got close. The malt aroma of beer was quite strong. "Zhua Yeming, was your brain damaged by a door or kicked by a donkey? Su Yun's body just recovered, and you actually took him to drink? Are you crazy? If you want to drink, drink by yourself. No one cares. Why did you take Su Yun with you?" Zhua Yeming felt wronged in his heart. "I didn't. This wasn't called by me. He called me. What does this have to do with me? Sister, you can't accuse people like this. I'm the victim. I didn't want to drink." Su Yun smiled awkwardly. "After sleeping for a day and a night, I'm a little tired. That's why I asked Yeming to drink with me. He only drank a little. Really, he didn't drink too much. We're fine. He's already an adult. Don't criticize him in front of so many people in the future. Everyone wants to save face." Zhua Meiyan glared at Zhua Yeming. "Today, Su Yun pleaded for you. Otherwise, you'll see how I'll deal with you." Fine. I'm really unlucky. Zhua Yeming shook his head helplessly. "I'm obviously an accomplice. I was instigated. But when it comes to my sister's mouth, I'm the main culprit. I can't live like this anymore." At this time, Shirley also parked the car and quickly came in front of everyone. "Grandpa Su, tell me quickly, what's going on?" Su Yun smiled. "Don't talk about me. I'm just a little tired." Zhua Yeming muttered in a low voice, "I really didn't know that my sister's needs were so high. She could even tire out a master to the point of fainting." Although Zhua Yeming's voice was low, Wang Zhe and Wu Yuandong, who were also experts, couldn't help but snicker. Of course, Zhua Meiyan naturally heard it. As soon as Zhua Yeming finished speaking, the back of his head was slapped by Zhua Meiyan, and he no longer dared to make a sound. Su Yun was still talking to Shirley. I really want to know how you managed to get the land contract signed so quickly. Mr. Shi, you're really something. To be able to meet you in Qingdao, this trip is really worth it. Grandpa Su, you think too highly of me. I'm lucky enough to meet Mr. Xie and you. I'm really lucky. Shi Lei straightforwardly said, Xiongdi still say the same thing. As long as it's the Guqin Islands matter, just say the word, I will definitely help Suyi handle it properly. I don't dare to boast about other things, but in this Guqin Island, big and small leaders, all give me, Shi Lei, a little bit of face. Zhuo Meiyan couldn't help sighing with emotion. Mr. Shi is definitely a big shot in Qingdao. With just a few phone calls and a few words from you, so many people came out to put pressure on Tai Zhonghua. I really admire you. Shi Lei also flattered her. Mr. Zhuo, you're too serious. You're the real hero among women. You're a strong woman who's not inferior to men. I used to think that there's no such thing as a strong woman in this world, but Mr. Zhuo made me realize that I'm really a frog at the bottom of the well. I only see the things on Qingdao, but I don't see that there's always someone better. They chatted as they walked back to the hotel room. Zhuo Meiyan handed the land contract to Su Yun. We can start the exploration and construction soon. I thought this thing would drag on for a long time, so the construction company I contacted before has already cancelled the cooperation agreement. Sigh, I just contacted a few construction bosses on the way, but it's too sudden. They have a lot of things on their hands. Most of them just received a big order, or else they're rushing to finish the project at the end of the year. The biggest land problem was solved, but a new one was about to come. Su Yun deeply felt how troublesome it was to be the boss of a group. Even if he took over Sky Entertainment Group, he would definitely need Zhuo Meiyan's help. Without Zhuo Meiyan, he wouldn't be able to take care of everything. After all, our project is a big one. I don't dare to believe in an ordinary company. Zhuo Meiyan frowned and said with a sigh, It's true that one wave comes after another. Gua Chuanjiang has really left me a lot of trouble. Su Yun glanced at Shi Lei. Shi Lei scratched his head and said, I do know a lot of friends who are in the construction industry, but the residential buildings on Qingdao have long been saturated. The occupancy rate of many residential areas is less than 30%. These people have all gone out to develop real estate. Slap. Su Yun slapped his head. He was really looking for a donkey. He didn't need to look for a construction company. All he needed to do was call Tang Jiu, and the Tang Group would easily take care of the project. This company was definitely big enough. It was a win-win situation. Why not? Su Yun made a phone call and told Tang Jiu about the situation. Tang Jiu immediately agreed to go to Qingdao to discuss the details with them after she confirmed the final construction progress of the artificial river project on the last day of the day. What other troublesome things did he have to deal with? Su Yun was immensely pleased with himself. Such a small matter was too easy for him. It seemed that he had the talent to be a boss. Maybe he could really make Sky Entertainment Group the world's leading entertainment company. When that time came, Hollywood would cry. The interior decoration and the architectural design. Zhuo Meiyan said, the Tang Group is indeed a capable and qualified construction company. However, their designers are still a little inferior to a real design master. Because this is Zhang Taisui's last wish, I nitpicked and said that it would be best to find a real designer to participate in the construction of the film and television plaza and be responsible for the later renovation work with the Tang Group. This would make me feel more at ease. Zhuo Meiyan's words made sense. Su Yun nodded. Although it seemed like nitpicking, it was actually very necessary. Not to mention other complicated things. Just the lighting alone was a problem. If one didn't really study lighting design, they wouldn't know how to set up the lighting. They definitely needed a good designer. Leave it to me. Shi Lei patted his chest and said, I know him. He's my sworn brother, the chief design director of Yifeng Decorations, the young and promising designer Wang Yu, mingling in an office full of beauties for details. He has won international design awards. You know that the Huaxia Grand Theater in Qingdao was built not long ago. That's his work. Hundreds of young designers all over the world want to win this project and become famous. Wang Yu, Su Yun and Zhua Meiyan had heard of him. He was definitely a young talent, an indispensable artistic talent in Huaxia. However, with his current status, the cost of inviting him to design was definitely not a small sum. After all, the Grand Theatre was a national project. After it was built, its reputation far surpassed that of the Sydney Grand Theatre. Su Yun couldn't believe it. Mr. Shi, you're not joking with us, right? If you can invite designer Wang, Mr. Zhua will definitely thank you. Mr. Su, you're treating me like an outsider. Leave it to me. I'm not asking for anything in return. I just hope that when you have a chance to see Mr. Xie, tell him to come back to Qingdao. I really want to have a drink with him again. Shi Lei said emotionally. He looked up and sighed. Mr. Xie has done me a favor, but I haven't had a chance to repay him. Definitely. Su Yun promised him. I believe that I will have a chance to see him again. The world was so small that when you turned around, you didn't know who you would meet. At the same time, the world was so big that when you turned around, you didn't know who you would lose. That was right. Su Yun took the land contract of Quicksand Gold Coast to Guochuanjiang. Guochuanjiang hadn't eaten for a day. He was so hungry that he couldn't even lift his eyelids. However, when he saw the contract, his eyes widened in surprise. Mr. Guo, I told you that I'm a man of my word. Su Yun said coldly, everything is like this. You've thought about it for a day. It's about time you made a choice. Do you want me to take you to jail in Shenzhen? Or do you want to be a knife-shaved noodle seller in front of Sky Entertainment Group? Choose for yourself. Guochuanjiang's face twisted in pain. In the end, his rationality won over his wishful thinking. He promised Su Yun that he would return everything he had gotten from Sky Entertainment and everything Zhang Taisui had given him. He would obediently go to Sky Entertainment Group and sell knife-shaved noodles for the rest of his life. Mr. Guo, after the noodle seller opens, use more ingredients and oil. When you make the noodles, beat more eggs. Be careful of hygiene. I will ask my colleagues at Sky Entertainment to help you. Su Yun smiled. In the past, you weren't allowed to bring breakfast to the company. From now on, you are allowed to bring breakfast to the company every Monday. However, you can only bring your knife-shaved noodles. Guochuanjiang's face was ashen. He didn't know if he should get up and thank Su Yun. Guochuanjiang's current situation could be described in one sentence. Suddenly, the winter wind blew, and in an instant, he was back to square one. What Zhang Taisui had given him was already a lot. However, he was controlled by desire and greed. A man who is never content is like a snake trying to swallow an elephant. Everyone understood this simple logic. However, once greed arose, very few people could control it. Just like how no one would have thought that a fat man selling knife-shaved noodles on the street would become Mr. Guo of Sky Entertainment Group, who sat in Barbassa, drove a Range Rover, and played with female celebrities. No one would have thought that the high and mighty Mr. Guo of Sky Entertainment Group, who sat in Barbassa, drove a Range Rover, and played with female celebrities, would be reduced to selling knife-shaved noodles on the street. Life is unpredictable. No one is guaranteed to be mediocre their whole life. No one is guaranteed to be rich their whole life. Being kind to others is the foundation of being human. Using the chairman's words, when you drink water, don't forget the person who dug the well. The right way to do things is to repay the kindness of a drop of water with a gushing spring. Ungrateful people will never have a good ending. There was no doubt about this. Chapter 474. For 2 days, Hu Lai had not been able to force an answer out of him. He wanted to know where Ruan Qingxuang and Chou Yun went with Feng Guagua, but no one in the entire Medicinal Cuisine Hotel told him. Even if he had slapped the young man's face until it looked like a pig's head, he still did not get the answer he wanted. Bah! Dan Jiahao spat a mouthful of bloody phlegm in front of Hu Lai. Grandson. If you have the ability, continue to hit me. If you have the ability, kill me. Humph, even if you kill me, I won't say. Cough cough. But I'm telling you, Yun. Brother Yun will never let you go. Just you wait for your death. In the face of provocation, Hu Lai raised his foot and angrily shot, directly hitting Dan Jiahao's lower abdomen. Dan Jiahao flew out and fell heavily to the ground. He spat out a mouthful of blood and struggled twice, but could not get up. Don't King say it again. Dan Hongning, who was also tied up, saw his brother being beaten like this, and he was very sad in his heart. If it was him who beat him, it would be fine. Anyway, he had beaten this disobedient boy many times before. But it was different if it was someone else who beat him. As a brother, he was absolutely unhappy in his heart. He would rather the other party beat him. But they were obviously no match for the other party. The other party was very fierce, even as powerful as Brother Yun. The three tigers of Southern City did not even have a chance to fight back in front of this person. After Brother Yun and Sister Shuang left, it was already the third day of the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel's closure. The three tigers of Southern City were worried, so they came to see what was going on. But they found that everyone was tied up by the person in front of them. As the current acting boss, Dan Jiahao's face was bruised and swollen. Chef Zhong Shan was not much better. There was no normal color of skin on his body. Seeing that someone dared to make trouble in the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel, the three tigers of Southern City were naturally furious, especially Dan Hongning. After all, Dan Jiahao was his brother. Seeing his brother being beaten into a pig's head, if he did not get angry, then he was not born to the same mother. Seeing Dan Hongning take the lead, Lu Feng and Kong Zhong naturally rushed forward with their weapons. After all, Lu Feng also saw his cousin Lu when he tied to a chair. Well, the three tigers of Southern City didn't see when the other side moved, and they were directly swept to the ground by the other side's whip kick. Before they had time to recover, their faces and stomachs were punched. This was simply not an opponent of the same level. They didn't even touch the other side's shadow, and had already been beaten black and blue and defeated. Dan Jiahao couldn't bear to see his three big brothers being beaten up, so he rushed forward again. As a result, his already weak body was sent flying again. LV Wenny's heart ached so much that she could only cry silently. She knew that the more it was like this, the more she couldn't say it. Otherwise, everything Dan Jiahao had done would have been in vain. Their hope and future were directly linked to Brother Yun and Sister Frost. Even if they were beaten to death, they would never betray Sister Frost. Even if they were beaten to death, they would grit their teeth and hold on. Hu Lai's hands were tired from the beating. He picked up a bottle of half-drunk vodka on the ground and gulped it down without saying a word. He smashed the bottom of the bottle and walked straight to LV Wenny with the sharp bottle. You don't want to say it, right? Hu Lai sneered and gently swept the sharp crack of the bottle across LV Wenny's face. I'll give you one last chance. If you still don't tell me where the two women and the little girl went, then I'll disfigure her face. I mean it. Lu Feng was angry when he heard this. Damn it, if you have the guts, come at us. What's the point of attacking a girl? F***ck. If you're a man, do something a man should do. Don't do such a disgraceful thing. Hu Lai looked at Lu Feng with disdain. You're really a man. Hee, okay. Then I'll come at you. As soon as he finished speaking, Hu Lai stepped forward and mercilessly stabbed the sharp crack of the bottle into Lu Feng's lower abdomen. Lu Feng wanted to curse, but he couldn't say a word. He knelt on the ground, holding his stomach. His whole body was twitching in pain, and beads of sweat kept coming out on his forehead. This pain was absolutely no less than being stabbed by a knife, and the wound was immediately stained with alcohol. That kind of heart-wrenching pain was even more unbearable for ordinary people. But even so, Lu Feng didn't cry out in pain. He gritted his teeth and endured it. Fortunately, it was his abdomen that was stabbed. At most, it would hurt his intestines. But the bright red blood coming out of his abdomen scared LV Wenny and made her faint. She had never encountered such a thing since she was a child. Naturally, LV Wenny couldn't bear it. Seeing that Lu Feng was stabbed, Dan Hongning and Kong Zhong rushed forward. But after all, their strength was limited. They were beaten by punches and kicks. It was impossible for them to take revenge. Just as Dan Jiahao tried his best to protect LV Wenny, the front hall of the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel was pushed open. The door of the hotel was closed, and it was written that the hotel was closed. Who would break in so early in the morning? Tang Zhou's eyes widened. She covered her mouth and looked at the bloody scene in front of her in surprise. After Su Yun and the others left, she didn't continue to stay in the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel. Instead, she returned to the Express Hotel next to the construction site to think about the light source design at night. Tang Zhou had just finished the final project planning yesterday. Early in the morning, she was ready to rush to Su Yun to talk about another project on Qingdao. Since she was leaving, she naturally wanted to say goodbye to the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel. But she never thought that she would see such an unbelievable scene when she came in. Was she dreaming? Miss Tang, leave quickly. This person is not a good person. He's here to catch Sister Frost and Guagua. Go and inform Brother Yun. Dan Jiahao shouted with the last of his strength. Then, he felt a sharp pain in his temple. His vision turned black as Hu Lai kicked him and he fainted. Tang Zhou turned to leave. Her reaction was fast, but when she turned to the door, Hu Lai was already blocking her way. Ah! Tang Zhou jumped in fright. This person's speed was as fast as a ghost's. Miss, since you're here, why don't you sit down and have a chat with us? Hu Lai sneered, I just want to ask where they took the little girl. I'm not a bad person. I'm a friend. Haha, why won't they tell me? Tang Zhou stepped back nervously. You're a friend. Then why did you hit them? Because they're not friendly to me. I'm only friendly to people who are friendly to me. If they're unfriendly to me, I won't let them have a good time. Hu Lai approached slowly. Miss, I know you're a sensible person. If you tell me where they are, I promise I won't touch you. Lu Feng lay on the ground, blood still gushing out of his lower abdomen. I can't tell you. Tang Zhou's vision turned dark. She was about to faint. If Lu Feng couldn't be saved, his life would be in danger. She had to think of a foolproof plan. She had to save them. Because of Lu Feng's words, Hu Lai kicked him again. Lu Feng, who was already in a daze, fainted like his brother. Don't hit me anymore. I'll tell you. But you have to promise me one thing. Tang Zhou said nervously. I can't tell you, Miss Tang. If this person knows where they are, Zhang Shan will be dying. Hu Lai didn't give Zhang Shan a chance to speak. To prevent others from affecting Tang Zhou, he suddenly attacked and knocked everyone unconscious. Tang Zhou was the only one left who was still conscious. Miss Tang, haha, as long as you're willing to tell me, I can promise you 100 things. Hu Lai said, but you have to promise me one thing. Come with me. Haha. I'm not a 5th grade student. If you lie to me, I'll kill you. Tang Zhou swallowed. I won't lie to you. I promise you that I'll take you there. But you have to promise me that I'll call an ambulance. They need to be treated in time. Hu Lai walked to the front desk and pressed the hands-free button on the front desk. He immediately called the emergency center. Hello, how can I help you? 120 Emergency Center is at your service. A clear voice came from the phone. Hu Lai said in a hoarse voice, Hadong City, Central District, Medicinal Cuisine Hotel. There are about a dozen seriously injured people. Please come quickly. If you're late, I'm afraid it'll be too late. After that, Hu Lai hung up the phone. His eyes fell on Tang Zhou again. I'll wait for the ambulance to come. Tang Zhou said. Hu Lai's eyes flashed coldly. When the ambulance comes, I'm afraid it won't be easy for me to take you away. Miss Tang, don't make me talk nonsense. Either you come with me now, or I'll kill them. When the ambulance comes, no one will be able to save them. It's your choice. At this juncture, Tang Zhou had no other choice. She could only take Hu Lai out of the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel. This time, Tang Jiu went to Qingdao alone because all the staff here were busy with the artificial river project. As for the others, she had already called the company's headquarters to arrange for them to meet at Qingdao. Hu Lai got into the car with Tang Jiu and asked, "It seems that they've left the city?" "That's right." Tang Jiu's heart was beating fast when she was lying. "They went to Qingdao. I'll take you there now." Hu Lai didn't notice Tang Jiu's nervousness and heartbeat. He thought it was normal because anyone would feel nervous and uneasy when they were threatened. "Miss Tang, a wise man submits to circumstances." Ha ha ha. Tang Jiu lied. Of course, she couldn't take this ferocious man to Sister Frost, Cho Yun, and Guagua. She believed that when she brought this man to Su Yun would be able to subdue him. This was the only way she could think of to get the best of both worlds. Otherwise, she really didn't know how to save all the injured people in the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel. After Tang Jiu's car left, several ambulances rushed to the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel and took all the unconscious and injured people into the ambulances. The police immediately got involved in this matter. Chen Wei attached great importance to this matter. After all, this place had a deep relationship with Qin Wan and Su Yun. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.